HJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray Music app and listen wherever you go.
Have your sports curiosity cured.
Flyers control the face-off. Shot from long range. Score! The Flyers win it. New York. The Seahawks in overtime.
A veteran of the sports reporting game for over 25 years.
This is well. It's going to
Breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams.
Marner takes the wall, killing more clock. 20 seconds left on this Utah power play. Vegas off ice, an aggressive stand. Steal by Howden. Score!
This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, here we go for Solve 656 Thursday, April the 30th, game day for the Oilers in another do or die situation as they head into the duck blind. Can the Oilers send this series back to Edmonton for Game 7 on Saturday night? Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 on your AM radio dial on your morning drive on a Thursday or wherever you're heading out, getting ready for the weekend here. You can also watch us on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. Please drop us a like and a subscription. We would really appreciate that. We're also on X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. As always, we're streaming on the many services that are out there on iHeart Radio, the TuneIn app, even on sports1440.ca. And if you miss any part of any show, well, you can find it where all the podcasts hang out on Apple, Spotify, Google, even Amazon. Please subscribe. It's free. Select the auto download. You'll never miss a second of any show. Yes, a hearty Thursday morning and a good morning to you. Here from the Sports 1440 studios at West Edmonton Mall, where the Oilers are on the ice tonight in Anaheim, looking for a win in Game 6, like they had a win in Game 5 to keep this series going. It's been a series where, Anaheim has thrown everything at the Oilers, and for some of the time, the Oilers have had an answer. For most of the time, they haven't had an answer. But this is where we are, and the Oilers need their best game. Everyone said, well, you need your best game in Game 5. Well, they need a better game tonight, because there were times in game number 5 where they let off the gas at some points of the contest. And you know what? The Ducks, full credit. They weren't going away quietly. And you think they're going to go away quietly tonight? Well, it's the same as the Oilers. There's too much pride in the room, too much from the last 2 years going through the war to get to the Stanley Cup final. They don't want to go out like this in the first round. We had so many texts over the last little while about, the team's beat up, it's hurt. It's been a long 3 years. They played more games than anyone. It's about opportunity. You get to this point, you're not going down without a whimper. And that's what we saw at points last night in that Pittsburgh-Philadelphia game, because you know what? Pittsburgh, very veteran team, they weren't going away. They were close to winning it in overtime. There were some moments that they had on the Flyers. We'll get to the recap from Wednesday night games in a moment. But, you would expect the Lions to start game number 6 the same as they started game 5 and how they finished game 5. But, hey, everything's on the table here, is it not? Because it's a situation where you have to find absolutely you got to go to every nook and cranny in your playbook to try to find an edge, to try to find something to gain an edge and pick up something and find something from the opposition. So everything's on the table tonight. But again, you heard Chris Knobloch say the ability that when Vasily Podkolzin went to line number 2 and to separate Podkolzin, Draisaitl, and Kasperi Kapanen was not an easy decision. But because of Podkolzin and his ability to be inserted and injected everywhere, well, that allowed Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl to play together with Kapanen. But that second line of Vasily Podkolzin, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Zach Hyman, they got the ball rolling on Tuesday night, and they continued. And I would imagine that would stay the same, because that's the difference in this series moving forward for me. This second line, if it stays intact, they can be the difference maker that allows Connor and Leon to play together. I was going through some stats all time. Text line, by the way, 833-401-1440. Get them in, get them on. What do you think about tonight? What's your prediction? What do you think? Can the Oilers send this one back to game number 7 and Saturday night here in Edmonton? Evan Bouchard, with his 3 assists the other night, that gave him 88 career points in his 80th playoff game. So just to put this into perspective, Paul Coffey had 92 in 80 games, his first 80 games. Bobby Orr, 92 in his first 74. So those are the numbers that we're talking about where Evan Bouchard is when it comes to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Leon Draisaitl with his couple of goals the other night, that's 150 career points. That ties Stan Mikita for 32nd. Connor McDavid hit the score sheet with a couple of points. That tied Adam Oates for 156 for 29th all-time in NHL scoring. And everyone knows the Oilers can score. They have scored. So have the Ducks. But it's about defending. It's about the commitment to defend. 19 goals for the Oilers. 21 goals for the Anaheim Ducks. Power play for the Oilers is 4 for 14. Ducks is 7 for 14. So when you do the math, 19 goals for the Oilers, 4 power play goals, that's 15. 15 big ones, 5 versus 5. So as mentioned last night in the NHL, I mean, you got to give it to Pittsburgh. Let's start there. You got to give it to Pittsburgh to get back in the series, trailing 3-0. But, I mean, Philadelphia, the overtime winner by Cam York, and he throws his stick into the stands and said he's hoping he doesn't get a lawsuit after. I don't know if you saw the video of the guy that caught the stick or has the stick and caught it and still has it today. I don't think Cam York got it back, but man, you'd swear it was Larry David in the stands. This guy looked exactly like Larry David from Seinfeld, Curb Your Enthusiasm. So, but an amazing performance by Dan Vladar, his second shutout of the series. How about Matvei Michkov? He gets an assist on the game-winning goal, the overtime winner. Was scratched, missed the plane, the whole bit, gets put back in and responds. So the question in Pittsburgh is, what happens to the big 3? Have we seen the end of Sid Crosby? Have we seen Geno Malkin and Chris Letang playing together? Malkin has another, he's a UFA. Sid has another year. Letang's got a couple years, I think. So, but is this the end of the line for the big 3 there that have played 20-plus years together? Montreal and Tampa Bay. Man, what a game again. 3-2. The Canadians win it. Their bottom 6 doing it. Kirby Dach with an amazing goal. Maybe the bro some of that can rub off on the bro. And Colton gets one tonight for the Oilers. But Jakob Dobish is 15-2-2 following a loss 3-2 Montreal. They can wrap it up in game 6 on Friday night. Then the craziness. How about the Vegas and Utah? And the Mammoth are doing everything that they can do except win games in this series. They're up late. Pavel Dorofeyev scores a hat trick, completes his hat trick with under a minute left, sends it to overtime, where it goes not 1 but 2. It's 20T, double overtime, where Brett Howden scores not just a regular goal, but a shorthanded goal. Unbelievable. If you look at how the Mammoth played that play, though, just smelly, stinky. Alex Kerfoot was just horror awful on the play. But 5-4, Vegas wins it. They lead that series 3-2. Let's welcome in the Duke of Delburne, 7:09 in Edmonton. I'll tell you what, Duke, that game was too late for me, even in this time zone. Did you make it to overtime?
No, I didn't, and not necessarily intentionally. I'd gotten home from hockey, and I'd worn a puck off the hand, so I was kind of a little bit of pain. I had my hand sitting in an ice bucket essentially all afternoon.
You watching goal?
Yeah. It was a weird one. It was a weird one. It was another one of my textbook 0% or 100% luck saves, reaching behind me with the paddle, and it just went kind of right off the inside of my pinky finger, where anybody that knows there's not a lot of protection there because you're not supposed to make saves with that part of your blocker. But besides the point, so my hand was sitting in an ice bath. My nails already all black and blue. It's pretty bad. Yeah, much like David Schlemko playing hurt today.
How do you do it?
Playing hurt. But
how do you do it?
So I sat there and watched the Jays, the Penguins, the Flyers, the Tampa Bay and Montreal games, all these, and then the first 2 periods of Vegas and Utah. And then I think, man, it's getting pretty late. I'm gonna watch the third period here from the comfort of my bed on the TV, and that was the nail in the coffin because I did not make it even through the third period before I was out. And when I awoke, if I had so much as just looked at the TV, I probably would have seen that it was in overtime or maybe even double overtime at that point. But I didn't even look. I just rolled over, clicked the power button on the remote, and went right back to sawing logs. I missed it in its entirety. I kind of caught the expedited, shortened version of the third and overtime periods here this morning before coming into the studio. So, what a finish! Yeah. What a finish! Brett Howden's second shorthanded goal of the series. He's having a whale of a playoffs already. Good Western kid. So nice to see that for him. But yeah, tough scene for Utah holding or blowing a late lead again.
Second time in 100 years, basically, that a shorthanded goal has won the game in multiple overtimes.
Wow.
Thomas Hertl did it for the Sharks, so now he's a teammate of Howden's, obviously. Mm-hmm. I can't find the guy's name. It's some guy from the Leafs in 1933. They don't have a record. Speaking of, well, never mind, Duke, about your finger. Maybe it's time to get rid of the Fisher-Price goalie equipment.
Oh, I got good goalie equipment.
Wow.
Kevin, as I said, you're not supposed to make the saves with the inside of your hand on the blocker. It was just
angle up, Duke.
It was desperation, pure desperation save. I was just like Connor Hellebuck at the Olympics.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
And it, so that hurt. And there was about 10 minutes left in the skate when that happened. So I kind of it hit me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, the puck carries on. I pull my blocker off today, and the nail's already black and blue essentially at that point, and it is. You can feel your heartbeat in the tip of your finger. Everybody know, like almost like when you hit your hand with a hammer type thing, right?
So is it your right? Yeah,
my right hand.
So is this going to affect your buffet eating ability?
My buffet eating ability, I'm sure not.
Left-handed pork?
I am a little nervous about if I'm going to be able to golf on Saturday.
Oh, not a chance, dude. Not with that interlocking grip.
No, I don't do that. I ain't about that life.
No, if it's your right, you'll barely do anything because it'll be on the end of the club, right?
Yeah, but like your pinky, you still need a
Duke.
I have like essentially zero grip strength in that in my bottom half of my hand.
Well, no, you're a lefty golfer, so you're
right? No, not my bottom hand, the bottom half of my top hand.
Yeah, no, you'll be fine.
I'm hoping
I can guarantee you.
I'm hoping that the pain just subsides a little bit. It's still throbbing.
Get the needle.
Still throbbing pretty good. Hurts a lot.
Get the needle, Duke.
Poke the pressure out of it?
No, just freeze it up, Just
that needle. Yeah, sure.
Let me just like Schlemmer.
Let me just call my best guy, and I'll get right on that.
Last night in the NBA, I thought for a second that the Raptors might be able to sneak one out over Cleveland in Game 5. They had a 12-point lead on the Cavs, but they got some injuries, man. Oh, man. Like Brandon Ingram left the game, didn't return. Scotty Barnes isn't at 100%. So they had that 12-point lead in the second half. They had a 3-point lead entering the fourth, but just sort of ran out of steam. Cleveland wins at 125-120. So they take a 3-2 series lead. But I don't know if the Raptors can rebound after being this banged up moving forward in game number 6, which I believe is tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure. Is it tomorrow? I think it is tomorrow. Yeah, we'll have to check on that. But you never know because they had 2 days off. It'll be tomorrow, yeah. Also last night in the NBA, the Rockets stay alive by beating the Lakers 99-93. Lakers still lead that series 3-2. And the Pistons, Duke, the Orlando Magic had a chance. Your Magic had a chance to close it out. Pistons win at 116-109. Orlando still leads that series 3-2. If you watched the Blue Jays in the afternoon, which I did, it was a pretty strong performance, beating Boston 8-1. They'll start a series with Minnesota in Minnesota tonight. I was kind of laughing. Brian Bayo, for the Bo Sox started. He's been absolute garbage this year, and he was kind of looking off his manager when he got the hook, and everyone's going, like all the guys even on the Hill were saying, hey, pal, maybe start, getting some outs here and you can stay in the game. Just like Eric Lauer. Eric Lauer was, he gave up a home run in the first inning to Contreras, but was really good until he got to the 5th. And, you're in line for a win, but get some outs. Instead, he loads the bases, and the Jays had to make a strong double play to get out of the inning. So they go on to win it 8-1. So they've won, that's 3 series in a row. This is going to be an interesting conversation with our first guest right off the hop, and I'm looking forward to it. Matt Fraser, the former NHLer, he played in Edmonton, and he played in Edmonton 11 years ago, and that was the toughest year probably in franchise history in 2014, 2015. But Matt Fraser he's a Red Deer guy, played a little bit for the Rebels before moving out to the Kootenay Ice, where, do you know who his head coach was? Chris Knobloch. So interesting angle there. So he played with Chris Knobloch 15 years ago. Also, he was in Dallas for a short time with the Stars. Guess who his head coach was there? Glenn Gulletson. I mean, there's so many angles here. And he won a Western Hockey League championship with Chris Knobloch at the helm of the Kootenay Ice before they lost in semifinals at the Memorial Cup. So Matt Fraser, former NHLer, is going to join us right after the break. It'll be a hell of a conversation. He's still playing, and we got to find out where he is, because he played last year, this year, technically, in 2026 in Austria. And there's another connection, Duke, that's going to blow your mind with his career in Austria. Mark Spector, Frank Saravalli, and their usual double-barrel shotgun hockey insider spots, 8 o'clock, 8:20. We got Paul Sir at 9 from Hoop City. Liam Harobin from Oilers Nation coming up at 9:20. Scotty Upshaw, man, you can't beat our final guest of the day from the Missing Curfew and DraftKings Network at 10:20. When we come back, former NHLer, former Oiler, Matt Fraser will be with us on the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne. And Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, and Instagram.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO.
Mr. Ruder says 1 plunge, 2. What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow! People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial.
If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value for a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
It's playoff time, and we've got a lot to talk about. This is Andrew Walker on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. Tune in after every Edmonton playoff game for the Legacy Heating and Cooling postgame show. Visit the experts at legacyheating.ca.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in stock, ready to deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. Customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh,
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 721 in Edmonton, and time now for the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And at Fountain Tire, we can meet all your car needs and more with our digital vehicle report. We just don't tell you what your car needs, we show you. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com today as we welcome in Matt Frazier, the former NHLer, former Edmonton Oiler, to the show. Good morning, Matt. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
It's been, I think, a dozen years. You know, we would have talked when you were here in Edmonton, but you're still playing in Austria. Where are you right now? Are you back? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm actually in Red Deer.
Okay.
My family's from Red Deer here, so we always come back here for the off season, and we got back about just about 10 days ago. So we're just kind of settling in and kind of getting back to normal life over here.
How did this last season go for you in Klagenfurt? You've been there for about a half dozen years or so.
Yeah, we've kind of made a home over there. You know what, the season was okay. We lost in the first round. We had a good regular season, but we kind of fell a little short in playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, sometimes that's the way it goes. And in Europe, it's you know, it's about the experience of playing over there and the experience that I can have with my family and living in a different world or different part of the world and that. So we really enjoy that part of it. And sometimes the hockey works out and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, that's pretty cool stuff. Matt Frazier with us. And I'm going to revisit your career in Klagenfurt with you in a bit, Matt. And I'm going to bring up a name that's going to probably blow you away. When I was going through some stuff last night, when we found out we were having you on, I was looking around and I found a name and it blew me away. So it's a connection, and I'll just kind of leave you hanging with that. So, but you know what? Here's a situation too where, you know, when you were getting going in junior and, as you said, from Red Deer, but once you got to Kootenay, well, who was there but Chris Knobloch? And you guys won a Western Hockey League championship together with the Kootenay Ice back in 2011. Just maybe take us back to your years in Kootenay when Chris Knobloch was coaching there.
Yeah, so I mean, I started there. I got traded there when I was 17, and Knobber, he was the assistant coach there, and then he became the head coach when I was 20 years old. So I've had Chris as a coach for, I think it was three or 4 years. But yeah, we go way back, and it's actually funny. I kind of followed Chris's coaching career, and he was following me along, and then I saw he got the Oilers job, and you know, we still keep in contact every little bit. And I text him a few times during playoffs just to wish him good luck and everything. And you know, Knobber to me is just one of the nicest humans out there, and he was the first coach I had that you know, he was so good for development for me, but he also cared about you as a person, and I think that just shows you know, the kind of character he has and the kind of person he has. He really cares about the individual. He cares about you know, making them a better player, but also making them a better person. So yeah, you know what, I always cheer for the Oilers, and a lot of it is because of Knobber. I just want him to have all the success he can get.
Matt Frazier with us, former Oiler, former Kootenay Ice, on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. So I got to know Knobber when he was with the Bears like 10 years earlier.
Right.
I think back then, Matt, you know, I sort of knew that he was going to be a career coach. Did you get the feeling? Did you get the feeling when you were in Kootenay with him in that same sense?
You know, I absolutely did. And I maybe didn't realize it at the time. You know, you're kind of young, and but as I look back on that part of my life, the junior hockey and then playing professional, and then you're always that name, and because we won together as well, that name and those guys, they always kind of stick with you, and you follow them along. And like I said before, just Norbert I felt like he was the first kind of coach I saw or had that it wasn't just about hockey. It was about how are you doing? How's your day-to-day life? How's your life away from the rink? And I just always found that special with Chris. And that's something that I still think about and try to emulate a little bit still as a player. Where you play with a group of men of 25 guys, and there's much more to it than just playing hockey. So it's been a while since I've seen him, but the lessons that he kind of taught me as a man have really, kind of leaned into my life now.
Yeah. Matt Fraser with us on Sports 1440. Hope you can answer this, Matt, because, we get texters and fans, when they watch Chris on the bench now and they see how stoic he is and, the emotion and how he bottles it up. Was he like that back then? And then do you see it uncorked at times where he not loses it, but the emotion comes out, Matt?
For sure. And Chris he, like you said, he's a very stoic character. He's very, I would say he's thinking before he's talking, and he's what he says is what he means. And, to be honest, I haven't seen Norbert lose it a lot. But that's when you know that it's real. That's when you know that what he's saying is how he's feeling. And we won the league my last year in Kootenay, and we played in the Memorial Cup, and it was in Mississauga. And we had a bad game, and that's actually the first time that I saw Norbert really, really lose it. And it was just like, it was a passionate moment. It was a big moment for our team in the Memorial Cup, and we eventually wound up winning that game. And we didn't win the Memorial Cup, but we made it to the next round of games. So again, it was when I know what I remember from Chris is when he was upset, you knew it was for the right reason, and you knew it was from a passionate place. So it doesn't happen a lot, but I know when it does, that he means it.
Matt Fraser with us. Yeah, that Memorial Cup, in that tiebreaker game, you guys beat Owen Sound.
Right.
And then you lost to Mississauga, who ended up losing to St. John. What was that Memorial Cup like for you?
Oh, those tournaments are so special. And I think, winning the Western Hockey League was such a, I don't know if we were expected to do it, but, we beat a Portland team that had Sven Berici, Nino Niederreiter, Johansson, a team that was stacked with guys. And it was just a special team. We had a group of guys that just loved to work hard and eventually to make it to the Memorial Cup. And being from Red Deer, I watched the Rebels win a Memorial Cup. It's a tournament that you just always follow because it's exciting to actually be a part of it. And that was our first time flying to a hockey game and flying to a tournament. So it was just special for our whole group and special for the city of Cranbrook that we got to do it for them. And it's just a memory that I always have. And, a lot of those guys I still talk to this day.
Matt Fraser with us on the Kevin Karius Show. Played in the NHL, 36 games for the Oilers back in 2014-15. Matt, don't have to tell you it was a tough year for Oiler fans. It was a tough year for the organization just because of all the coaching changes and everything. But what do you remember about your time that you played, about a half season here?
Yeah, I started the year in Boston, and I was put on waivers, and Edmonton picked me up. And as a Central Alberta kid, being from Red Deer, it was obviously exciting and exciting for myself and my family. And I have to say I grew up an Avalanche fan. Just Joe Sakic was my guy, but just to be close to home and to know how passionate the fans are and just to even wear the jersey was really special. And obviously those were some tough days for the Oilers organization and for the fans, but I'm really happy to see that things have turned around for them and that, it's exciting to walk into that rink again.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was on the team that year, and he's still kicking around here, and 1,000 games and everything. How impressed are you still that he's really, the true blue Edmonton Oiler, one of the all-time Oiler greats.
I'm sure I echo a lot of people's feelings about Ryan. He's just the salt of the earth person, and his whole family they're just wonderful people, and you would never know that, he's an NHL superstar, and he's just a normal guy, and that's what I think everyone loves about him. He comes to the rink, he works hard, and he's really really proud to wear that jersey. And he's another guy that, I hope so bad the Oilers can make a splash in playoffs just to see him win, because I think he really deserves it, and he's put in a lot of time there.
So being a Red Deer guy, Matt, were you down south more? Were you looking at the Flames? Did you like the Flames? Did you watch the Flames, or were you more Oilers? What was it like growing up?
I was just saying, I was an Avalanche guy. I was a Colorado Avalanche guy. I loved Joe Sakic. I loved watching those teams. I loved watching them battle the Oilers, the Stars, the Red Wings, and I was always an Avalanche guy. And I think I have lots of friends here that are big Oilers fans, and it's always a big party when the Oilers are playing in playoffs and everything. So yeah.
It's kind of funny when you mentioned, Chris Knobloch, the guy that was here as an associate with them for a couple of years. When you were in Dallas, he was the head coach in Glenn Gulletson too. So lots of connections here.
Yeah. It's again, Gully's another guy. I had him, I guess, it's almost 15, 14 years ago, and then to see him get another chance at it, and to see him do well with it, and those are the stories that you always like to hear. You always like to follow along with, and those stories where, I guess, for lack of better words, the good guy comes out on top. It's really nice to see. It's really fun to see that those guys get another chance and really run with it.
It's funny. A lot of Oiler fans and just people that follow the team here for years, when they look at this Minnesota-Dallas series, they want to see Gully do well, but they also want to see good things for Bill Guerin. So it's sort of torn, I think, for a lot of people. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, there's a lot of Oiler history kind of spread throughout the playoffs, and it's hard not to cheer for those guys.
Matt Fraser with us on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. So as you said, Matt, you got back from Austria about 10 days ago. Have you been able to watch some Oiler games here in the last bit?
Yeah. I was up in the watching game 2. I came up and watched, and then of course, I mean, this is such a great time of year. The weather's getting better. The playoffs are on. You can watch hockey all day, and it's just a great time. My 2-year-old daughter, she takes up a little bit of that time, but we always got the hockey going on in the background, and she's watching, she's paying attention. So it's a lot of fun. It really is the best time of year.
It is. So what have you seen from the Oilers, and what have you seen from the Ducks, for that matter, in this series? Because Anaheim's got just a boatload of young talent here.
Yeah, I feel like when I watch Anaheim, they're just playing fast and loose, and that's kind of a credit to their youth, and I think they've got good direction with their coaching, obviously, and he's kind of taken the reins off those guys and just let them play, and that's probably when they play their best hockey. It's kind of run and gun up and down the ice, and with the Oilers, it's tough to say, because I would say we haven't seen their best hockey yet. I think they've played spurts of it, and obviously I pay attention a little bit more, just because, and I just feel like we haven't seen their best hockey yet. And a little bit of it too is you play against a team in Anaheim that maybe system wise they're not as structured as other teams, so it's a little bit harder to kind of play the Oilers system. But I have no doubt that the Oilers tonight will come out with some energy from the crowd and kind of claw their way back into this series.
You were a big guy when you played, still are. But what do you like? You're like Vasily Podkolzin's a big guy that likes to crash around. What have you noticed about him playing right now?
You know what? Those are the guys that you win. Those are the guys that you win with. Those are the guys that will get the job done when the game is tight. It's your Hymans, your those types of players that really battle and go to the dirty areas to get the job done. And you obviously need the scoring and everything else, but it's those guys that are fun to watch, that play that hard-nosed game and that in-your-face game. And, when the team needs a big hit or a big play, those are the guys that get the job done. So those guys they're just fun to watch. They do a great job, and you can't help but cheer for them.
Matt Fraser with us on Sports 1440. So after your NHL career here in Edmonton in 2015, you toil around the AHL for a bit, and then you go to Europe. How did that opportunity come to you? And it's basically been 10 years since you've been over there.
Yeah, I was kind of going through my hockey career last night on the computer, and it feels like two different careers, my career in North America and then my career in Europe. And, playing in North America and playing in the NHL, that's obviously every kid's dream, and getting to do that. And then I had the opportunity to go to Europe, and it was just something that I felt like at that point in my career, I didn't want to pass up. And now I've been there for, just over 10 years. And I always joke with my wife, I left Europe with a hockey bag and my sticks, and I came back, and I have a wife, I have a dog, I have a daughter, and I got it all. We're like the Griswolds traveling across the world. Yeah. It's just been a wonderful experience. We've been able to kind of travel the world a little bit and see some places that had we not gone to Europe, we wouldn't have that opportunity. So we're very grateful that we're able to play over there.
So that name that I was looking at last night, when you got to Klagenfurt back in 2020, and you guys ended up winning a championship that year, correct?
Right, correct.
So I was lucky enough to play some junior in Melville in Saskatchewan.
Okay.
And I'm looking at the head coach of the team, and I'm going, it can't be. So then I check him out, and it was Petri Matikainen.
Yes.
And he ended up coming to play in Melville in 1983. We were the same age.
That's right. Yes.
He came over, and you know how the Finnish guys have to come over, and they do, and then they got to go back and serve their time, in the army and things like that.
Right.
But he came over as a 16-year-old and was a pretty damn good defenseman, then went on to play many, many years in Finland. But, I mean, I looked at that, and I was like, this can't be. Matt Fraser's coming on, and then a guy that I knew back 42 years ago, Petri Matikainen. Yeah. What was that like? Just maybe touch on that.
I mean, if you know him, he's a person that you can't forget. When he walks into the room, he just kind of commands everyone's attention. And, I love the Finnish folks. They're loud. They'll tell you exactly how they feel, and they love to work hard. And, Petri was the same way. And I guess I had him for, I think 3 years in Klagenfurt, and I loved it. I mean, he was a guy, he was straightforward, and he loved to win, and he loved guys that worked hard. And he was just a great fit. And you know what? He's still a coach that I text periodically. We talk periodically throughout the year, and if I ever need some help or advice, he's always there to pick up the phone. So that's funny. That's a small world. The hockey world is a small world.
I couldn't believe it when I was looking at stuff last night, Matt, and I saw
he actually did mention, I forgot that he did mention that he played in Melville. And I just kind of skipped my brain, but that's a small world.
Well, we are the same age, like we're 67s. So we were in the same grade together. So this is like he's learning English. So that was a totally new thing for him. So it was.
That's awesome.
I couldn't believe it when I looked it up last night. But are you going to go back next year to Austria? What's the situation?
Yeah. I have one more year. Yeah. I'm 35 now, so we're just kind of going year to year. And like I said, my daughter's 2 years old, and we've been over in Europe for 10 years. So we're kind of winding down here a little bit, and so we'll do one more year and kind of take it from there and kind of see what happens.
Have you? I mean, I'm sure it's kind of entered your mind here, Matt. Like post hockey, any thoughts? Of your second career? If you say you got two careers in hockey, maybe what's your third one going to be?
Yeah, there's always lots to talk about that in our family and what we're going to do next. And for right now, we're just enjoying our life over there. We've to be this young and have a young family, we were able to travel around and just enjoy the whole experience of playing in Europe and what that has to offer. So, we'll kind of figure out life after hockey when that time comes. But right now we're just trying to kind of stay in the moment and really just enjoy ourselves and really, enjoy being there.
Hey, Matt, this has been a lot of fun. Really appreciate you coming on. It was good to talk about some old guys from years past. And
this is great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, enjoy the game tonight, and hopefully there's a Game 7 on Saturday. Maybe you'll come up for it again.
I hope so, too. I thank you for the call. Thank you for the time.
Yeah, that's Matt Frazier, former NHLer, former Edmonton Oiler. That year in the Oilers, 2014-2015. Yeah, it was a tough year. That was a tough year for sure because – that's right in the next year's the Connor McDavid draft. And I mean, the Oilers that season, you started with Dallas Aikens and then Mac T came in. Oh, by the way, Craig McTavish is going to be with us tomorrow, golfing with the G-Man. He'll join us to talk hockey and golf tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So don't miss that. Todd Nelson then took over. But man, it was just a tough season for the Oilers. But, would have been a dream. As he said, he's a Colorado fan and growing up an Avs guy, but to play sort of in your backyard, being a Red Deer guy, I think that would have been a big highlight for him, as he said. So that's the Puck Report brought to you by Fountain Tire. And again, we care about one thing, and it is your car, your vehicle. Check them out at fountaintire.com today. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. What do you think happens tonight? Give us your thoughts. Oilers, Ducks, Game 6. Keys to the game. What's Connor going to do? What's Leon going to do? What's that second line going to do? Can Connor Ingram play like he did in game number 5 on the road? All questions that have to be answered tonight. It's a Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. Looking for a solid 4x4 that checks all the boxes? The 2026 Jeep Compass is in stock now at St. Albert Dodge. And this is a great value, starting from just $36,900. It's a Jeep, so you've got 4x4 capability, plus features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, active lane management, a Park View rear backup camera, and more. Over 30 in stock right now in just about every color you'd want. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Greger for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
It's playoff time, and we've got a lot to talk about. This is Andrew Walker on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. Tune in after every Edmonton playoff game for the Legacy Heating and Cooling postgame show. Visit the experts at legacyheating.ca.
Do you sit around at work listening to sports radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Hey, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening for your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part of the job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Greger at sports1440.ca. And let's get to work for you.
Canadian Tire's Big Spring Tire Sale is back. Save up to 25% on quality tire brands, including Continental, Michelin, Motomaster, and Pirelli until May 21st. Conditions apply. Details online.
You've enjoyed a long winter with your Ego snowblower, but now it's the time to get ready for spring.
Bring your summer Ego equipment in for service. Or if you're looking to add to your lawn care fleet with new mowers or trimmers, Ego has a wide selection of products to fit every season. Ego also has the powerful wet-dry vacuum and pressure washer to make your cleaning and lawn care a breeze.
We're more than repairs. We're more than mowers. The Lawnmower Hospital.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 746 in Edmonton. That was a good conversation with Matt. I enjoyed that, talking about some old guys. And even again, like with him being in Kootenay for, 3 years, and as a 20-year-old, they win the Western Hockey League championship, as he said, over a tough Portland team, and then go on to lose in the semifinals at the Memorial Cup. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Basically goes out of there and signs. There's another guy I forgot to ask him about, because he went to play in Texas for the Stars the following year and had a pretty good season in Texas. He scored 37 goals in the American Hockey League, but his assistant coach there was a guy by the name of Jeff Truitt, who ended up coaching all over the prairies. He was in Camrose, actually, for a long time with Boris Rabalka, too. Another great guy, Jeff Truitt, for sure. Text 833-401-1440. King of Fort Nasty says, good morning, KK, Duke, and Fenny. Hey, the Duke being a Ducks fan is about as disgusting as the hairball little Eddie coughs up on the carpet at 2 a.m. Is this true, Duke?
Can't be. Don't have any carpet.
Why not?
I made it a point when I was getting my new apartment back at the falls. Like, I don't want any carpet.
You got it.
Because of the cats.
Come on now.
So it's hardwood everywhere. It's nice. Or maybe not hardwood, whatever, that plank, linoleum stuff. I'm sure.
It's probably vinyl.
Yeah, sure. But it looks like wood.
Is it like the what we have here in the Sports 1440 studios?
Actually, yeah, it's a different shade. It's more grayish and a little bit darker, but it would be the same material for sure. So wood appearance.
Yes. It's like Kramer's wallpaper.
Yeah, exactly. Surrounded by wood.
Off topic here. Every time I walk down the halls here in West Edmonton Mall in the Sports 1440 and the Stingray Studios, I think about how much waste of when these tile layers had to do these, because it's at an angle. They started where it was plumb, Duke, on the far side, right, of the mall on the west side.
Like, you're talking here or out in the actual mall?
No, just here in our studio. Sorry.
Okay.
In Stingrays.
Right.
In Stingray. So if you think they would have started at the main doors. Okay.
Right.
When you walk in at gate 55. Now that's all 45 degree and 9. Everything is totally plumb and flush.
Yeah.
But then once there's so many nooks and crannies here.
Oh yeah.
It's all at an angle.
Remember how long it took them?
Well, that's the amount of cutting and waste that would have had to happen here. They should have just done a correction line, Duke, just like the farmers.
Yeah, eventually level things off somewhere and start fresh again.
Just a correction line. Hey, King says, too, I just wanted to say about the Buffalo fans playing the Canadian national anthem, and they've been doing it. They always do it. But when the mic went out the other night, the fans sang the Canadian national anthem. He goes, I hate to say it, but I don't see a Canadian city doing the same. Maybe now we will see it. But here's the thing, King of Fort Nasty. It happened to Brett Kissel here. Brett Kissel was singing the American national anthem, and his microphone and everything went out, and he basically raised the mic in the air, and then everyone at Rogers sang the American national anthem. So it happened here, King. And he says he's going to be rooting for the Sabres even more. Jay and Victoria says, would love to see a Connor and Leon show tonight. Pods, I can't say enough about him. Doc will be there in a couple of years. Oilers force a game 7. Connor will get 3 points tonight. Duke, what's this Penguin one? I don't even want to go through it. You responded to
I for about the 9th time in a row, I think Penguin is texting the wrong number.
Oh, there you go.
Because several times messages come in that appear have no context to what we're talking about whatsoever. I think maybe he's trying to get in touch with someone else or a different program.
Hey, Cam, even though it's not Playlist Friday, I think Cam he said he wants to hear Streetheart, and it's One More Time. That's an old song, Duke, by Kenny Shields. And I think he's wanting it one more time, like the Oilers can win one more time to send it back to game 7. Freezer Bag says Brett Kissel planned that mic issue. Okay, whatever.
Hey, I can lean into that theory.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching that game from the basement of the frat house, and I was like, what is he doing? In real time, I literally thought, I was like, he just wanted to do the crowd singing it thing, but for the American anthem.
Yeah.
But hey, Brett's a great guy. Nothing against him, but I'm in on that with Freezer Bag.
Husk says if you can bend a piece of flooring, it's vinyl, Duke. If you can't bend it, it's laminate. This is vinyl in here, I know. Gen X Jeff, 75% of the fans in Buffalo are Canadian. I don't know why you guys are so excited about the supposed American singing of our anthem.
Where'd he get that figure?
I have no idea where he would get it from.
Yeah, there is a strong contingency of people that flood over the border to go to these games. 75%?
Not even
There's
close.
no chance. There is no chance the number is that high.
Yeah. There are Canadian people, for
sure.
100%,
Yes. Right? I mean, it's whatever, a couple hours from Toronto. We know the Bills fans, tons of people go to those games, and we see it on social media all the time. But Bills fans, the fan base, are from Buffalo. It's a city. It's not it's not MetLife out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. What did you think about Cam York throwing his stick into the stands? Did you see the video? Did it not look like Larry David?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah.
It was funny. We saw this for the first time with Jack Hughes. Was he the first to do it a couple of years ago with the OT winner in a regular season? And then Zegers did it.
Yeah.
We've seen a few guys follow suit. So I don't know if this is like a little shtick. Some of these American guys all having a group chat about like, hey, if any of us ever score, this is what we're doing. And Zegers now plays for the Flyers. Had himself a really good series, actually. It's a weird thing to do. I don't know. I don't think I'd ever be doing it, but then again, I have to pay for my sticks, so maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I'm inclined to hold on to them a little bit tighter than yeeting them into the crowd.
Wow, but I mean that guy's got a collector's item forever. I'm surprised I'm surprised there wasn't a brawl in the brawl in the stands. Give me that. It's Philly, man. Come on.
My first thought when Flyers won that game was they better grease the light poles because they'll be climbing them up and down Broad Street.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of a chance people are going to give Philly against Carolina. But sometimes, you get on a roll and you got everything going for you. And again, Dan Vladar, that's 2 shutouts in the series, Duke.
Oh, Kevin, watching that game last night, and he was excellent. A shutout's a shutout, sure, and it wasn't the most exciting hockey game start to finish. I saw a tweet about it. It was like flipping back and forth between Tampa and Montreal, and then Pittsburgh and Philly. It looks like you're watching the game on half speed by comparison. But Vladar was great, and I was thinking, it's like, yeah, he must have took the Vezina snob a little to heart, coming out to prove something.
Exactly. Like in the Babber draft, he would be the leading guy after so far, right?
For sure. Yep.
He
two
would have
2 shutouts, 4 wins.
So that would be, is it 2 points a shutout or 1?
Good question.
I can't remember.
Let's go take a quick peek.
But whatever, he's got 8, and then he's got a minimum 1, so he's got 10. And that's in a lot of drafts. But most people, when you pick the goaltender or goalies for a team, you get the 2 for the win, and then you get 1 point or at least 1. 1,
2 for a shutout.
Wow.
Or sorry, 2 for a win, 1 for a shutout. So and if goalies get points, apparently that's also on the board here. So
he's got 10 right now.
Not bad.
I mean, someone is going to have more than 10 points, you would think, after round 1, like Kaprizov or Leon or something like that.
Jackson Lacombe.
If you say so, Duke.
What do you mean if I say so? It's kind of 2 points tonight.
When we come back, Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. He'll be followed up by Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Last night in the NHL across the Stanley Cup playoffs, Philadelphia Flyers punched their ticket to round number 2 with a 1-0 overtime win over the Penguins to take the best of 7, 4-2. Cam York with the game winners. First of the playoffs, Dan Vladar pitching a 42-save shutout for his second donut of the series. Montreal tops Tampa Bay 3-2 to take a 3-2 series lead. They'll have a chance to clinch it on home ice later this week. And the Utah Mammoth fall to the Golden Knights 5-4 despite leading late. Double overtime. It took in that one where Brett Howden with a shorthanded marker gives the Vegas Golden Knights a 3-2 series lead. In the association, the Raptors come up short against the Cavaliers, falling 125-120 to go down 3-2 in the series. And the Detroit Pistons keep their season alive. Cade Cunningham, 45 points. Paolo Banchero also with 45, but the Pistons take it 116-109 to now trail the series 3-2. And in the nightcap, Houston keeps their season alive as well, beating the Lakers 99-93. They trail that series also by a margin of 3-2. From Toronto, rubber match between the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. Toronto takes it 8-1 on the back of home runs from both Ernie Clement and Brandon Valenzuela. And across the rest of the majors, Tampa falling to Cleveland 3-1. The Yankees get blanked by Texas 3-0. Cubbies get past San Diego 5-4. And the Houston Astros and Orioles game postponed along with the Giants and the Phillies. They'll make that up today. Coming up in hour 2, the Kevin Karius Show. We'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector and Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lottery, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen as we roll out the Sports Talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
What does deadline mean?
It means you have to do something before time runs out.
Oh, like buying your big brother's, big sister's dream home tickets?
Yes, exactly like that.
The Dream Home Lottery deadline is April 30th. That's today. Your chance to win the grand prize, your choice, a dream home or $1 million and take home half the Win 50 jackpot is almost gone. Every ticket supports kids right here in our community. BigBrothersDreamHome.org. When you buy a ticket, you help a child.
Lottery license 745563 and 745562. Please play responsibly.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots. with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Area Adjusted and Red Wing made in China when Canadian made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8 o'clock in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on a Thursday morning, and time now for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. The playoff push is here, but in April at Northgate, there's no pressure, no giveaways, no phony prizes, just the good old-fashioned deal. See more at northgategm.com as we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Good morning, Spec.
Hey, how are we doing? What's going on, man? What's going on?
Well, what time did you get to Anaheim yesterday?
Early. Got in like at 1 in the afternoon, but I left at 6 in the morning.
I know you did. Yeah, that was a dirty one after.
Yeah, that was a dirty one.
You even what time do you go to bed, or do you just get a nap, or what?
I got 2 hours sleep.
Wow. The Shelka set the alarm for you?
No. Shelka slept right through the alarm. She was sawing logs and I peeled out of there.
Wow. So you're sort of playing hurt a little bit, like Duke's playing hurt, Schlemmer's playing hurt. I mean, I don't know how we're going to keep going on here at Sports 1440.
Well, a guy went on a little tour of downtown Santa Ana last night.
Did you? What was it like?
That's pretty cool. So all these towns down here, like Santa Ana and El Segundo and Orange, like at one point in time, they were their own little city, right? They were their own little town like a million years ago until they all merged together into the greater Los Angeles. So everyone has a little downtown with a little main street and some pubs and restaurants. And so downtown Santa Ana is actually lots of fun. We had a good time last night.
I'm wondering.
Ate my dinner from a Mexican taco truck. I had to get Derek Van Diest to come out and interpret. I didn't understand. The guys asked me if I wanted it to stay or go in Spanish, and I didn't know what he was saying. He couldn't understand me, and I had to pull Derek out of the bar to talk to the guy.
DVD's pretty good, isn't he? He's quite fluent in
handy to have around when you're ordering tacos from a couple of Mexican guys, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's always, what's the woman's name that comes up for the Stanley Cup Finals that does NHL?
Claudia, she was out last night. Claudia.
Yeah.
She was there last night.
What's her name again?
Claudia.
Yeah.
Claudia.
So DVD's basically the interpreter for her during the Stanley Cup Final as well.
Yeah, he said he made the mistake of telling the people at NHL Deportes or whatever they call themselves that he spoke Spanish, and now it doubled his workload when he plays against one of the LA teams, because now he's got to do everything he does in English, he's got to do in Spanish too. He says I never should open my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. So they should be status quo. I would think same lineup, same lines, everything that we saw in game number 5. We'll see you again tonight here, Spec.
I think so. We didn't see any injuries. The only guy that looked that took a break from the game was Connor Murphy when he stopped that. Looked like he had something going on with his hand or his wrist, but he came right back out and played the rest of the game. So he should be fine. I can't see anybody being hurt. Can you?
Well, no. And when we were saying yesterday, and again, up in the press box, we didn't see it, and I didn't see it until we talked about it the following day yesterday. So it was more of a skate. I think Murphy thought his hand was cut.
Well, is that what we think happened?
Well, that's what the guys were saying that watched it on TV. And again, when we were watching in the press box, Spec, when we looked at it, and we didn't see it enough. I think maybe, it wouldn't have been on the Jumbotron replay. You know what I mean? So that would be something to sniff out today.
Yeah, again, that was, I believe that was in the second period, and he played the rest of the game.
Mhm.
So I'm going to say this should be no problem. But, folks at home, like, I know that during the season when I'm often the only guy on the road, like you guys are watching the broadcast at home, and our camera people and producers and stuff they've got such a keen eye. They spot all that stuff and they show you things at home that you're watching in your house
Mhm.
that I'm at the rink. Sometimes I don't even know they happen because I'm not watching the broadcast. And
Exactly.
I'm watching the scoreboard in some town I'm in or whatever replays they're giving me. And to be honest, they don't care if Connor Murphy went down the tunnel because they're worried about their own team. So when you're watching the Sportsnet broadcast, you sometimes you get information and things like, you're just saying the guys at home saw it.
Mhm.
I don't know. When I'm in the rink, sometimes I don't even know what happened, for Pete's sakes.
And that's the thing that but you see things that people don't see on TV. That's the difference.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's some things I pick up that you don't get. So yeah. But in the end, the broadcast is pretty good. They don't miss much. No. And in a case like Connor Murphy going off, anyway, we all watched him go off that 2 nights ago, and he came back and played a whole bunch. So let's not alarm anyone. I'm sure he's ready to go tonight.
And he was really good. Him and Nurse were really
good
in Game 5. And
he's been a really good addition. It'll be interesting to see him and Dickinson. It's probably too early to start talking about free agents and who gets signed and who doesn't. But those two guys make your team better when Dickinson's healthy, for sure. So it'll be interesting to see. But they're both older guys, so it'll be interesting to see what Bowman does with them this summer.
Yeah, no question. Mark Spector with us. I thought that, when the lines were separated because of Podkolzin and Kapanen and Draisaitl were really the only line going, it sort of raised a few eyebrows. And I thought maybe just Leon and Connor would start the game and then Knobloch would go back. But I really, really like Chris's answer, after postgame, saying about how because of that second line and Podkolzin going in there with Zach Hyman and Nugent Hopkins, that allowed him to throw Leon and Connor together. So I liked his answer is what I'm saying, Spec.
Yeah, so often when they go to the nuclear option with Draisaitl and McDavid on the same line, this is the first time they've used Kapanen up there. But so often when they do that, I mean, the good news is those guys play together, but the bad news is they go to that line because nothing's happening. And when that line leaves the ice, still nothing's happened. We end up watching a one-line Oiler team, right? That's been the history of putting those guys together. But in that game, if you're telling me I could put those guys on the same line and still have a second line that's really good, well, now I got a pretty good team. And that if Podkolzin, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman are gonna be very effective. They scored 2 goals. They're, Podkolzin's driving the bus. Nuge had one of probably his best game of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
If you're telling me I can put 97 and 29 together and have another line that's still really effective, well, now I don't mind that one bit. I could probably have a pretty good team going on if that's what's happening.
Here's a question for you, Spec, and I brought it up yesterday when you were away. Oh, by the way, it's we had Michael Trakos on in your place.
Mike
yesterday.
Trakos, yeah, my old buddy from the National Post.
Yeah. So, and he actually was the guy that came up with it. Instead of on the mark, it's going to be trake it or leave it now.
Trake it or leave it. Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad. Anyway, it's something we talked about yesterday, and I said, well, and maybe I'm way out to lunch here. Maybe I'm not. So regarding Vasily Podkolzin, is he the heartbeat of this team right now? Connor, Leon, we know they're not at 100%. Hyman, same thing. Is Vasily Podkolzin the heartbeat of this team right now?
Well, everybody needs to pitch in, man. You need some help, especially when your big guy, Connor McDavid, is unable to be quite the player we're used to him being. So is he the heartbeat? I'll tell you what, he sure was off the start of the game in Game 5.
Yeah.
And why not? Like, well, why can't we share the load here? Why does it always have to be your top guys? Why does that fall to McDavid and Draisaitl?
Every night, yeah.
Every single night of every single season. Yeah, you know what? That's a way for the rest of the lineup to pitch in. We've always talked about a team, Kevin, that can only change momentum by scoring a goal. They don't have hitters. They don't have energy guys. They don't have a Brendan Gallagher. They don't have, they've never had enough guys that do other things. And when we say, we need a goal on this team, who does that fall to? Well, it always falls to 29 and 97. So, yeah, Wouldn't that be great if you had a third, somebody else to share that burden instead of your top 2 goal scorers? That'd be awesome for the Oilers.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a full-time job, but for 48 hours or something like that.
Yeah, pitch in, man. Pitch in. For sure.
What do you think? How do you think Joel Quenneville counters here tonight, Spec? Because, they were down 3-0. They've been down every game in the series. It hasn't bothered them. It hasn't mattered to them except for game 5. What do you see? Anything different from Q's perspective tonight?
Well, if I'm him, I'm probably not changing a lot. I mean, I think he's dealing with a team that's probably in a lot of ways has overachieved for him. Like, this is their first shot at the playoffs. They've got a bunch of young guys who've had a hell of a run. They go up 3-1 in their very first playoff series. I would suspect that as a guy that's coached as many playoff games as Joel, he probably saw this game coming, game 5 coming at some point. Like, there's going to be a night when we don't have the comeback in us. There's going to be a night when we don't start great. So you don't change a lot. I think you're asking, now you got to teach these young guys how to close the series out. And they've had, they had one chance, didn't work out. Now you got another chance. And we all know, it's one thing to get to 3 wins. It's quite another to get to 4 wins. And Joel can't do that for him. The Edmonton Oilers built a team that could get to the Stanley Cup final, but Stan Bowman couldn't win it for them. It was up to the players, and they couldn't manage to get it done. And now it's Joel Quenneville's got his team there, and he prepares them, and he's got his lines. He's got a lot of good players and a lot of good things. I love this Anaheim team. They're awesome.
Yep.
But I think it's the 20 guys on the ice got to figure out, okay, here we are. It's time to close the series out. Let's get this done.
If Evan Bouchard plays tonight like he did against the Ducks in game 5, what do you make of the Oilers' chances tonight?
Well, he's such an important player and such a good player, right? When he plays that game that he played the other night, like it shifts the whole, environment of a hockey game. He's that good. That's why I was disappointed with him in the first 3 games, because he wasn't very good. And, this guy turns everything. Like him or not, everyone loves him. I think he's a number 1 defenseman, genuine guy. But when he gives you regular season Bouchard like he did in the first 3 games, your team doesn't run very well. It doesn't work. And when he gives you the guy he's been the last couple games, all of a sudden, look how good the Oilers look, right? So, you need him now. You need everybody here. There's no room left for a key player to come out and give you a stinker. You can't have that anymore. So I can only assume Evan Bouchard will be excellent tonight, because generally speaking, when you need him to be, that's what he is.
I think we're looking for a rebound game from Matthias Ekholm too. He took that dirty hit from behind from Jeffrey VL, and I don't think he was the same guy after that. He got walked. That was the play where Murphy took the skate in the hand and he got walked by Troy Terry. Do you think that's just a one-off, or do you think there's something wrong with Matthias Ekholm?
You know what? It's a long game with lots of hits and lots of dirty stuff and lots of things going on. Who knows if he's hurt? No one ever tells you. He did keep playing. That's the only gauge we have, Kev. It's the only gauge we have anymore. If a guy's playing, we expect that he's healthy. But there's lots of guys out there playing who aren't. So is Matthias Ekholm hurt? I mean, let's go to the skate today. Really, the evidence you get is if he doesn't practice this morning and he's a guy that would normally, then we got something. If he practices this morning, all I got for you is he must be healthy. And if he's healthy, he better play well, because they need all hands on deck here.
Well, Spec, are you going to the taco truck for like a little afternoon snack, or what are you doing?
Yeah, for breakfast. Maybe I'll pull a Sean Reynolds and go get my breakfast at a gas station, but pickled egg.
Well, you can just heat it up in the microwave like Eddie.
I saw Eddie complaining about something on the internet yesterday. What the hell was it?
Well, no, you guys were going at it, the two of you, about landscaping and splitting.
Oh, yeah. He was asking for a landscaper to move some rocks around his yard. I said, go get a wheelbarrow and a shovel. How about that for fun?
And did you see his reply?
Yeah, something about a wood splitter. Yeah, I don't know, Eddie. You know, Eddie's a city boy, that's for sure. These football guys, they're big and tough in the gym, but when it comes to their backyard, they're always hiring somebody. What's going on with that?
He's going out for his first round of the year.
Where's he playing?
He's playing at the ranch at 9:00 or something like that, 9:10. So.
What's the temperature there?
It's nice. We finally got some decent weather, Spec. I mean, finally. I think it's +5 right now, ballpark.
Okay.
It's +7 right now, but we're looking at a high of 21.
Ooh.
And then it's nice. It's nice right through.
Why are we golfing at 9 a.m. at this time of year? Don't we wait till it warms up a little bit? Or
Wow, you just got to get out there, man. I think people have the itch in town here, Spec. It's never been like this for a long time, not since COVID.
Yeah. Let's play some golf. Well, play a game today and watch a hockey game tonight. Sounds like I'm going to a morning skate here in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it's only 7:15 here. Maybe I'll go back to bed when I'm done with you. Holy man.
Are you gonna have a nap, Spec?
Yeah. Well, not now, but probably later. What time's our game start tonight? It's at 7:00 Pacific.
7:00 your time, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Should be fun tonight. Another do or die, baby. Win tonight and keep playing, or locker room clean out. It's not much to choose from here.
No, it's either that or a Saturday night game 7. So
oh boy, Saturday night game 7. That would be fun.
That'll be wild. Yep, for sure. Hey Spec, thanks, big fella. And we'll tomorrow. What are you okay? What do you know?
No, I'll send you a text. I have a feeling I'm flying actually, but let me see what I got.
Oh, that's too bad. You and Eddie won't be able to renew acquaintances.
Yeah, I know. I got early flight. End of the series, you got to fly early. You got to get back in place here. And I suspect I'm flying at about 7 a.m. tomorrow, which is exactly when I'm on the air. Let me look at my stuff and I'll shoot you a note here, buddy.
Yeah, call your secretary.
I'll call my secretary, yeah.
Thanks, Beck. Have a good
See
night. Mark Spector on the mark, brought to you powered by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This truck's for you. Check them out at northgategm.com. When we come back, Frank Saravalli will be with us. Duke, if you watched the Pittsburgh game or some of it, the Phillies got rained out yesterday and they went to the game. They went to the Flyers game. The whole rink booed them on the Jumbotron. Like booed them.
They're like a last place team, aren't they? Are they last in the division right now?
They're like the Mets and the Phillies stink.
And we talked about earlier the week when Rob Thompson got fired. So who I think was pretty liked by the Philly fan base, but at a certain point when a team spends this much money and has this roster and you can put the Mets in the same camp to extent like something's got to happen. And as we always say, you can't fire players. So tough for Rob Thompson, but that is hilarious. That is the most Philadelphia thing you've ever seen. They're here rooting on the club across town, across the parking lot, and they get booed by the people in the stands.
Since Santa got pelted with snowballs at the Eagles game. Battery snowballs. When we come back, Frank Saravalli, Victory Plus TV on the Kevin Karius Show, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Do you have neck or back pain? Ever go for treatment hoping for a simple fix only to realize your stubborn spine is basically a science project with attitude? Hey, we get it. And honestly, we're a little sorry because great rehab does take proper experimenting. But at Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we don't just toss exercises into the beaker and hope it doesn't explode. We start with the right diagnosis, then mix hands-on care, precise manual therapy, and evidence-based technology. The formula your body actually needs. Science and skill with gratitude, not attitude. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers the Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
At Metal Supermarkets, they're all about value added. In addition to a warehouse bursting with steel, aluminum, all the good stuff, and cut fast, they offer a ton of value-added services: metal bending, drilling, punching, notching, welding, and back hair waxing. Oh, sorry, I meant plasma cutting. Anybody seen my glasses? Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for... And value-added options too, even delivery. Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
If you're passionate about golf, you probably already know, and you've been waiting. The Quarry is now open, and all 27 holes are in great shape. Book now, get geared up at the Pro Shop, and start swinging at the Quarry. Don't forget about the Granite Grill Restaurant, an unforgettable top-tier venue to host all your events. For rental details or to book your tee time, contact the Quarry today. Edmonton's most popular golf and event venue. Call 477-THE-Q and visit thequarryedmonton.com.
Time now for the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, as we await the arrival of one Frank Saravalli. Brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, the only team you want in your corner when things get messy. For all your plumbing needs, go to mrrooter.ca as we welcome in Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. Good morning, Frank.
How you doing, Kevin?
Well, doing great. What was it like to be in the barn last night in the Big X? Man, oh man, must have been a scene.
It was a pretty good one. I ended up taking my kid. Ooh. And just the playoff intensity, OT, a season on the line, potentially the last time we see Pittsburgh's big three together. Yeah. So much happening, and maybe the best game that I've ever seen without any goals. Like, it wasn't like they lacked for chances or opportunity, just none found the back of the net. There was a couple times where you just grabbed your head and you're like, how'd that not go in?
What was, when you're driving home with your son, did he say his favorite memory was? I mean, assuming the overtime goal, but there were so many other things that happened with the stick and everything like that.
Yeah. I don't know that he mentioned, it was his first time experiencing playoff OT. So, like, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes into the OT, he goes, wait, how come there's 5 guys out there and not 3? So I had to kind of explain the whole thing. And I said, this is why this is the best.
Yeah, for sure. And Pittsburgh had some chances to put it away in overtime, especially. Just couldn't get it done.
They controlled OT. The Flyers had zero business winning that game in OT. They were hemmed in their own end. They were just trying to flip the puck out. They iced it a few times. I mean, they just waited for their opportunity and their moment and got one final good look at it.
Yeah. Hey, did you see the guy that got York's stick? He looked just like Larry David, didn't he?
I did not. I was actually wondering where that ended up.
Yeah, well, I was surprised there wasn't like a full-fledged brawl. It's Philadelphia, right, to get the stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out.
That was a crazy celebration, too.
It was. Hey,
Did you know what? Dan Vladar behind the net?
Yeah, like, you mean just with his arms up and stuff, or what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, he just he was like clutching his head, like, I can't believe we just won that game. We had no business winning that game.
Yeah, I'm going to bring his name up in a minute when we talk about the Vezina finalists, Frank. Hey, what about, like, because we didn't see it on the broadcast, so the Phillies were in the building and got booed hard? What was that like?
I wouldn't say booed hard. I'd say it was a very mixed reaction, and they were probably expecting it. I mean, this is a team with playoff aspirations and hopes, with the worst record in the division, 10-game losing streak, fired their manager all before the first month of the season is over. So not surprised that they weren't met with a warmer reaction, but yeah, their game was canceled across the street. So they all just walked over, and it was a packed house.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you mentioned it. Is this the last time that we see the big three for Pittsburgh together? Letang's got 2 more years, as you know. Crosby's got 1 more year. And then Geno Malkin right now is a UFA. What do you think, Frank?
It's a great question. I could see it going any number of ways. I could see Pittsburgh's ownership and management on one hand saying this is the 5th consecutive playoff appearance that we've had where we lost in the first round. We lost to a relatively underwhelming opponent at that in the first round. And it's also our first playoff appearance of any kind since 2022. It's time now to go in a different direction. But I could also see, for commercial reasons and otherwise, including at the behest of Sidney Crosby himself, who I believe, not in large part, but he's so close with Evgeny Malkin that he certainly wasn't willing to entertain going anywhere else as long as Malkin was there, is my understanding. So if he's gone, not only does that open the door up, but does he push to keep him? I mean, there's a million ways to look at it. Just being super straightforward with you, I think the Penguins are going to be hard pressed to make the playoffs again next year.
Mm-hmm.
They had so many career years and unexpected contributions that it's going to be hard to duplicate that. And they're going to need to really find something somewhere.
Yeah, you're right. In career years like Mantha with 33, and Malkin's going to turn 40 in a couple of months here, Frank, but he's still a point a game guy. He can still get it around. So
I could see it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not hedging. I could see it both ways. Clearly he wants to be there, and he's already voiced as such. This season, I think, gave him a real shot in the arm. I know that he worked extremely hard last offseason to be able to have a year like this one. And he seems motivated. Are the Penguins as motivated to keep him? That part I'm not sure.
Yeah, and even in goal, like what's their plan going forward? Do you see Stu Skinner?
That's the easiest thing is it's going to be Shelovs and Murashov.
Okay.
Stu Skinner, they haven't planned on re-signing Stuart Skinner since the moment they got him.
Mm-hmm.
He is walking into free agency. They did entertain the idea of flipping him at the deadline. That's something that they talked about. Couldn't find a taker for him. And as he goes out with Shelovs just totally outplaying him in the playoffs, one of the lingering questions I have for the Penguins is how different would this series have been had they started Shelovs from Jump Street?
It's fair. When that trade was made, I said if Stu Skinner, is the starter and gets the Penguins to the playoffs, he's going to command Tristan Jarry money and then some. Now, what is he? Is he a $3 million goalie? What do you think, Frank?
He's probably in the 4s.
Okay.
I thought he might have been able to reach into the high 5s, if you're right, if he had a season like that. Still, that 1A, 1B option could be your starter if you needed him to be. Could play in tandem, $2 $4 million goalies and smash them together and hope that for a stretch of the season, each one of them goes on a run. I could see that. And I think, look, the important thing to keep in mind, and I know people don't want to hear this because I've been as critical of Stuart Skinner as anyone, but Stuart Skinner is 27 years old. That's still relatively young by NHL goalie standards. And Dan Vladar, who had really never been a starter at any point in his career, is only 28. When he left Calgary for the opportunity to start somewhere else, or at least get the lion's share of the workload with Dustin Wolf overshadowing him there, that the Flyers saw that as a guy who's still young by goalie standards that could hold down the fort for a while. So maybe someone somewhere in their goalie department sees the same of Skinner.
Frank Saravalli with us on Sports 1440. So sticking with that, the goaltending, and we'll revisit Montreal and Tampa momentarily. So when those names were announced yesterday, I didn't think Jeremy Swayman should be in the 3. Gregor sent me a text right away and said, expected saves, goals, blah, 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 whatever. To me, I had either Logan Thompson or even Dan Vladar as my third guy. Where are you at with those 3 that were announced yesterday?
I had Swayman in my 3 the whole time.
Okay.
I know Sorokin was really good, but I also value carrying a team to the playoffs. That should have mattered a bit.
Yeah.
So that if I could have removed a guy from the 3, if I had a vote, I certainly would have taken Sorokin off.
Okay.
And I saw Vladar would have been a great choice because he was excellent from start to finish. And I know some Flyers fans are probably sitting there going, well, if he didn't have 2 gaffes in this series, maybe the Flyers close it out sooner. He more than made up for it in game 6. And, I saw a lot of, the Colorado Avalanche sent out a tweet yesterday with a side eye about Wedgwood not being a Vezina finalist. Look, he had a great year, but he played 45 games. That's not enough for me to be a Vezina Trophy finalist. So here's what I'll say, and I'll leave it really simple. We as the media, meaning the Professional Hockey Writers Association, take a ton of heat for how we vote on NHL awards. These are NHL general managers voting on the Vezina, and people don't like it. It's a reminder that it's not as easy as it looks. And when you have only 32 people voting, a couple sideways votes can make a huge, huge impact, which is why we increased our voting pool to upwards of 200 in the PHWA.
Okay, Frank. Montreal, Tampa Bay. Big win for the Habs last night, 3-2. I mean, the bottom 6 right now in that game, with a goal by Gallagher, who some thought wasn't even going to play. Kirby Dach with a great, great goal for a local product. Everything seems to be coming together for Montreal here. Can they close this out in game 6 tomorrow in Montreal?
Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
They had an opportunity to put the boots to the Bolts last game in Montreal and couldn't finish it off. And a lot of people were saying, well, look how much Tampa got better and better as that game went on in game 4. And a reminder that momentum does not carry over game to game in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's going to be the big challenge for the Oilers tonight. So I'm looking at this Montreal series. I think the odds makers, I think the people looking at this have gotten it wrong the entire time. This Canadiens team, people are saying, oh, this would be an upset. This Canadiens team is a coin flip between the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think anyone watching this realizes not just how close this has been, but that this Canadiens team can play hard and has the wherewithal to be a true Stanley Cup threat. I really believe that, and I think they've shown it through the first 5 games of the series.
All right, let's end with the Oilers and Ducks game number 6 tonight, Frank. Hey, I texted you. I didn't get a response back. Were you in the fart sack already or what?
Yeah, I turned it off when it was 3-0, 3-1, something.
Well, because you predicted the score was going to be 4-1.
Yeah, I mean, the way they came out and what was on the line, not even in my wildest imagination were they blowing that game the other night.
Fair, but no one thought after it was 3-0 that the game was going to end 4-1 either, too. So, but kudos. What did I call you? Frank Adamus?
Frank Stradamus?
Frank Stradamus. Very good, Frank. So it was good on you. Do the Oilers send this series, back to Edmonton for a game 7 Saturday?
I think they do. But as I mentioned, momentum doesn't carry over. And my only lingering question is, do the Oilers take their foot off the gas at all? That they've shown a propensity to do that this season. Look, I thought of so many different ways to describe game 5 in Edmonton: surgical, rambunctious, relentless. I think the one phrase that really stands out more than any other is desperate. They were truly desperate to start that game, from their lineup to how their top players were shot out of a cannon to open it. I mean, that's the way you have to play every game. And to think that you can waltz through it because it's the Ducks. The only real lean I have tonight, as I believe the Oilers will win, I think it's going to be a lot tighter game. The over-under tonight on goal total is 7. I have the under. That's my play of the day. Because I'm just questioning or concerned that the Oilers have the same intensity as last game.
Well, I think they will. And again, going into that game, I said there's no way the Oilers were going to lose game 5, because there's just, after what this team has been through the last 2 seasons in the playoffs, they weren't going out with a gentleman's sweep. So there's no way that, in my mind, they were going to lose that game.
This one's the big one, because Anaheim only needs to win 1. And if they win, obviously, but if it goes back to 7, I don't think anyone is picking Anaheim to win that game in Edmonton. So
That's
this is
fair.
their shot.
Yeah. So you mentioned the consistency, and even like the foot off the gas, on the gas. Well, even in game number 5, Frank, I mean, the Oilers took it off the gas, even when it was 3-0.
That's
They
my
let it
concern.
off.
Yeah. That's my concern.
So where's your concern level on that? Why is a team that's gone to the Cup final twice know what it takes to get there and then lay off the gas?
I think the answer to that is really simple, because the Oilers think they're a better team than they actually are.
Okay.
You can't just do it in fits and starts. The best teams in the league have the highest motor.
Mhm.
And I think the Oilers' top dogs have the highest motor possible. But it's the rest of the group all firing on the same cylinder that's been tougher to manage.
Well, I've called them this 1,000 times this year, Frank. I've called this team switch flickers 1,000 times on the air this year, and that's exactly what they are. So we'll see what happens.
No choice. Like this cannot be binary. The switch has to be in the on position for the entirety of Game 6.
Hey, just a quick one on Utah and Vegas. I mean, the Mammoth are doing everything except for closing out wins here.
I know. I mean, they've really got to be kicking themselves to come all the way back the other night from down 3-0 to take the lead. Last night, they take the lead with under 7 minutes to play, and they can't find a way to close it out. They've overwhelmed Vegas with their speed, but they have not been able to just seal the deal, which is kind of in the same vein of what we were just talking about with the Oilers. It's the mark of a champion is what you can do when you're down or facing the toughest odds.
Frank, enjoy the games tonight and the weekend, and we'll yak at you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
That's Frank Cervalli, Victory Plus TV, and our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, keeping you out of the penalty box. That's MrRooter.ca. Text 833-401-1440. Team Dean says, Crosby and Malkin as second and third line centers in Edmonton next year. Well, I don't think so, Team Dean. I don't think that's a possibility. I don't think it'll ever happen. I don't know why you would, Team Dean, I don't know why you would, I mean, I think he's probably just joking, but Crosby's going to stick around. In my mind, if Pittsburgh is maybe well outside the playoff picture, I think that's when the questions about Crosby finishing his career in Pittsburgh will come out there. It'll be out there, and it'll be his call to make. The difference is, like, he's won the cups in Pittsburgh. It's not like a Ray Bourque in Boston. It's not like that. So it's a little different with Sidney Crosby. Letang's the bigger one, because Letang's, he's 39 too, and he's got 2 more years left. I think it's 6.1. Malkin, he could sign for whatever. He doesn't need anything. He could go so team friendly for like $1 million, but maybe it'll be 2 or 3, whatever it is. But he could, he's made $100 million. I don't even know what it is. So does Crosby want those guys back? You betcha. Can they win with them? Likely not. As Frank said, the one thing about the Penguins this year, they had career years. Anthony Mantha, 33 goals. I mean, that's insane. Like, Chinnikov had 18 goals in 43 games, did nothing in the playoffs. Zip. Letang is, he's just kind of getting there, and he's done. Erik Karlsson had a really good year for a defenseman with 66 points. So they thought that last year was going to be the transition. I would say that would be Kyle Dubas saying last year would have been a transition year for them to maybe not tear it down, but sort of retool as best they could. Now next year, that question's probably even a bit higher. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts. 833-401-1440. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram and Twitch. I've got some good news. If you've been thinking about a heavy-duty truck, the 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express is now at St. Albert Dodge. You've got 20-inch black aluminum wheels, black Mopar side steps, body color, bumpers and grille, and a sport performance hood. Available in all the colors for $68,990. Plus, new this year, Ram's best-in-class 10-year powertrain warranty. Now's the time. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com. I won't shave till we bring home the cup.
And I like to do a shot for every playoff goal. My jersey's not coming off until we're the city of champs again.
Want a playoff superstition that always wins? Pick up a bag of Wilhock beef jerky for every game. Because when it comes to the playoffs, where there's a Wilhock, there's a way.
Make every playoff game a Will Hockey game day with Wilhock beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't bring home the cup with salad.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or in the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Sleep is for the off-season. What off-season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your fix. Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440.
What does deadline mean?
It means you have to do something before time runs out.
Oh, like buying your big brother's big sister's dream home tickets?
Yes, exactly like that.
The Dream Home Lottery deadline is April 30th. That's today. Your chance to win the grand prize, your choice, a dream home or $1 million and take home half the Win 50 jackpot is almost gone. Every ticket supports kids right here in our community. BigBrothersDreamHome.org. When you buy a ticket, you help a child.
Lottery license 745563 and 745562. Please play responsibly.
Hi, it's Dennis from Weiss Johnson, letting you know that we'll be hosting our 14th annual charity golf tournament at the ranch on June 2nd in support of the Edmonton Down Syndrome Society. So far to date, we have raised over $325,000 that goes directly to fund various programs for this amazing organization. With your help, we hope to make this our biggest and best tournament to date, all to support a worthy local cause. To join us, please email me today, info@weiss-johnson.com. I'll get right back to you.
Your game, your station. Sports 1440.
And watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:43 in Edmonton. Finally, some decent weather. People are out golfing. Eddie Steele's going to tee off in about 30 minutes at the Ranch Golf and Country Club, Duke. I would say so 9:10. Let's give it. I'll say if he doesn't win the tee toss, and has honors, I'll just say 9-11. You're going to hear it's going to go, and Eddie duffs one into the water there on the first hole. Hey, what do you think?
Whoops.
And then mulligan.
Yeah.
Breakfast ball.
ball. Hey, first round of the year.
Jackie Parker.
9 a.m. tea time. I'm all. Listen, I'll never trash somebody for going breakfast ball. It happens to the best of us.
We still actually do it. I don't think we should anymore. These guys that, my Sunday group there with Murray McCourt and Sean Piercy and Adam Wizard.
And so, Kevin, when you're playing with guys of that ilk, right, that are that good, what actually justifies the use of a breakfast ball? Because for guys like that, like, listen, I do it, Eddie does it, maybe even you still do time to time. I only play with you usually a couple times a year, so I don't recall ever seeing it. But, you really duff it off the tee on the first hole or something, or you toe pick it. Those are, but like if the guys you're playing with that are really good golfers, they hit it out there and it just happens to, not land on the fairway, and they're just like, I'd like another one.
No, that it would never, like, it would only be like in the bush or something like that, like a lost ball. But the reason why that started, and it's coming up to 20 years, Duke, is because Murray and I used to play with Danny Kepley, the former Edmonton Eskimo, one of the greatest linebackers in CFL history. And it was because of Kep, and he called it was called a Jackie Parker from his former coach and all that. And Jackie Parker called it, and then Jackie Parker was a really good golfer too. He used to pound back a few what we called Jackie Parkers back in the day,
right?
Vodka and cranberry on the course for sure. But that's how that started, and then it just sort of has evolved and stayed in. So Jackie Parker
in your guys' little,
in our little, and we don't, like, Murray doesn't call it a breakfast ball. It's always a Jackie
Parker.
So that's more from
that
Danny
side.
Kepley.
But so Lincoln, looping back to Eddie here, though, specifically, I assume you saw his text, but I just wanted to make sure this was out there for the listeners so Eddie can be held accountable. He texted in and said, on the way to the ranch, open up the season, 9:10 tee time. If my session at the driving range yesterday tells me anything, it's this. The score 80. Better be ready for me.
Like, we've seen it, Duke. You and I, we've played, twice with Eddie?
Ever? I've played with Eddie quite a few times.
The three of us?
Oh, the three of you 2 or 3 times, I think, overall. A couple times at the ranch. Obviously, the windstorm we went and played at Sandpiper 2 summers ago.
Yes. Nah. Like, see, here's the thing about goal setting. And Eddie should be the last guy coming out with something stupid like that.
I thought he learned his lesson about this, right? Maybe he's just trying to be confident, speaking it into existence. What do they call that in your affirmations? When you get up in the morning, you look in your bathroom mirror and you speak your affirmations. Well, you manifest it, but like Eddie's looking in the mirror and he's like, I am a good golfer. I will shoot 80 today. And as a result of that, he is manifesting, thank you, Josh, it into existence. I've played with Eddie enough times. Hey, he's a solid golfer. He's definitely more consistent than me. He said it earlier this week, if he can get a little touch around the greens for his first round, then he's feeling good. I cannot see a world where he's shooting 80.
Not in the first round of the year.
Definitely not.
Like, I'll tell you what, Eddie is a pro athlete. I'll give him this. If Eddie went to the driving range 5 times a week, and had some good sessions and played 3 times a week, maybe more than that, I'll say, Eddie, you know what? I'll give you that by the end of the year. You're going to be cracking 80.
Okay.
I'll give you that. But Eddie knows if you don't put the work in, you're not going up to the tee box once a week, twice a week, and going to the driving range, like he said yesterday, for whatever.
Hit a small bucket, peered them all out there at MTR's text. Yeah, nothing like the nice clean lies at the driving range.
Yes.
Well, Eddie always has clean lies because of his foot wedge.
Yep.
So that is actually good practice. Whereas like me, I before I go to the driving range, I head out to the nearest bush pile, scrape up a bunch of leaves, twigs, branches, even some rocks, and then dump them all over my pad or area at the driving range. So I'm actually hitting from areas that I'll be more familiar with come my actual rounds of golf.
Great text from Ringer. Good morning. Loving the breakfast ball chatter. We always have one at Sunday Skins down here in Claresholm. Hey, thanks for listening in Southern Alberta. And it's going to be Jackie Parker. It is now going forward. That's great. Thanks for that, Ringer. Darren says, I've golfed all my life. I've never heard of a breakfast ball. What's that? Well,
really?
It's a mulligan, Darren.
It's a mulligan, but a lot of times when people, especially if guys are playing for keeps, like you got something on the line or it's a group that plays regularly, it's usually only the very first shot of the game, right? Like your first tee shot, that's where, maybe you showed up a little late, didn't have time to go work out, get stretched on the range or something. So your first swing, it's not always the best necessarily. So guys say if you shank the first one, you duff it. Don't worry about it. Breakfast ball, freebie. And then the term, I think, comes from if it is a morning tee time more specifically. Now, it doesn't necessarily just apply to morning tee times, but that is my understanding of where it comes from in my experience with it.
Yeah. Like
the old Jackie Parker.
Jackie Parker. There it is. There it is. We had some texts when we were talking about Chinnikov. Kent McKenzie texted in and he said, Chinnikov played well in the series for the Pens, just couldn't bury it. Had posts and was generating, but couldn't generate the puck to the back of the net. And I replied, I said, I didn't see him engage near enough to Kent. I said he was taken off the first line left winger with Sidney Crosby early in the series. And then I said, I picked him in a lot of drafts. I was disappointed. Then he goes, I also picked him, Kent says, and 2 other Penguins in a big playoff draft. I thought this was the year that they got the band back together. Didn't give the Flyer young players enough credit and with their grit and determination. That's very true. Neither did I, Kent. I don't think a lot of people did. And I'll tell you what, you think about Rick Tocchet here, and that's Michkov misses the flight. He's a scratch, bitches and complains about the warm-up, misses the flight. And what does Tocchet do? You would think, okay, you know what, you're going to learn, you're going to sit out. He puts him back in. And Michkov got the assist on the overtime winning goal.
He had a great game. And as Frank kind of alluded to, and I mentioned earlier, it didn't have the draw or the excitement of the Montreal and Tampa game, which kind of ran adjacent to it for most of the afternoon. But there were chances. And Michkov had a couple himself, a little partial breakaway in particular. I saw lots of tweets, and this is from a lot of Penguins Twitter, some of the beat writers we've had on stuff that I follow, broadcasters. They always say like the Artie Sheelov's experience at times because he made a couple spectacular saves. He was obviously the less busy of the 2 goaltenders. Vladar was asked to do much more. But Sheelov's was really good. Right before the game-winning goal, actually, he made an unreal save right out front. I think it was on Konechny.
Yeah.
He essentially dropped his stick to try and make an outstretched blocker save. And then his stick is the one that made the stop as it was laying on the ice. Just insane sequence. And then, unfortunately, the Flyers score essentially in the next faceoff.
Yeah, it's funny we're talking about this, dude, because the highlights are on the wheel here in the studios. And Michkov just, it was a great save by Sheelov's, got a glove on it, and then Michkov tried to jam it in at the side.
Yeah.
That was in the third period still. So,
here's the play I'm just talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly right. That spinorama by Owen Tippett, and then his stick gets the puck on Porter Martone. Yeah, you're exactly right. And, then you see how Philadelphia scores. And what do they say? You just get it on net. Get it on net. And it was, York had a fair bit of time to get rid of it. I don't know how much time he had to, say, pick a spot. But again, it's just, guys are just getting it on net, man.
Well, and let's loop us back to the Oilers here, Kevin. In the start in particular, I mean, Colson's goal, right, it's a great pass by Bouchard, but Colson's got like a clean look, and he finds a spot over top of the stall. But the Hyman goal, the dribbler tip-in type thing, how does that come about? It's from just funneling pucks towards the net and hoping good things happen. The Ducks have had a lot of success with that in the first 4 games of the series. So the fact that the Oilers simplified a little bit and got back to some basics to at least get the wheels turning, and then the rest of the period they were all over them, or the entirety of the period. It's cliche, and coaches, players, us covering the sport, we say it over and over again, but it's true.
Yeah. Text 833-401. Chomsker says, why didn't Pittsburgh call a timeout after the desperate icing play? Well, you can't call timeout after icing, Chomsker, so that's why they did not. And then Ontario Momes sent one in because he asked about Stu Skinner. And he said, what do you think Skinner signs for? And I replied to Ontario Moments that, I brought this up with Frank Saravalli, and I said, because of what's happened, I said, is it like 3-ish to Frank? I said to him. Frank said probably 4. So let's go 3 years for Stu Skinner at 3.75. And then Ontario says, he didn't catch Frank this morning. It's crazy to think that he could have been just sitting on the bench in Edmonton as well. Instead, they committed 5.75 to Jari for another 2. Well, but to quantify this too, Ontario, I said, if Stu Skinner in this trade would have gone to Pittsburgh and been the starting goalie down the stretch, and it was shared time with Sheelovs, if he would have been the number one, the legit number one, and then in the playoffs been the number one, not get pulled, and somehow maybe win a series, well, then now we're talking he's making Jari money, and he's probably signing for $5.5 to $6 million for a 3 or 4 year deal. So, hey, we're going to talk basketball when we come back with Paul Sir from Hoop City. Raptors lost a tough one to Cleveland last night in Game 5, 125 to 120. So the Cavs lead that series now 3-2. We'll bust down the other games last night and look forward to games this evening. But before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by All-Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities, specializing in underground utilities like power, gas, telecommunications, and street lighting. That's All-Star Construction. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Stanley Cup playoff action last night. The Philadelphia Flyers 13 to punch their ticket through to round number 2 with a 1-0 overtime win over the Penguins. Cam York nets the winner. Dan Vladar makes 42 saves for a second shutout of the playoffs. Flyers take the best of 7, 4-2. Tampa Bay, they beat the Lightning 3-2 in Florida to take a 3-2 series lead. And in the nightcap, the Mammoths cannot hold on to a lead for a second straight game late in the contest. The Vegas Golden Knights score in double overtime, win at 5-4. Brett Howden with the winner as Vegas takes a 3-2 series lead. In the association playoffs last night, Toronto Raptors come up short against the Cavaliers, falling 125-120 to now trail the best of 7, 3-2. The Orlando Magic cannot close out against the Pistons. Cade Cunningham and Paolo Banchero both with 45 points, but it was Detroit on top, 116-109. They now trail that best of 7, 3-2. And in LA, Houston extends their playoffs with a win 99-93 over the Lakers. LA still up on the series 3-2. In the majors yesterday, the Blue Jays take the rubber match over the Red Sox. 8-1 the final from Toronto. Brandon Valenzuela and Ernie Clement both homering in the victory. And around the rest of the majors, Yankees, they fell to the Rangers 3-0. Seattle topped Minnesota 5-3. Tampa losing to Cleveland 3-1. And a pair of postponed games. Giants, Phillies, Orioles, Astros. Don't make those up today with double headers. Coming up in hour 3 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Paul Sir from Hoop City and Liam Hiroman from Oilers Nation. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440,
A Stingray radio station.
broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
As we all try to figure out when winter will actually stop and spring will finally be here for the season, GS Construction moves ahead with their plans for the year. From planning and digging to laying out underground infrastructure, construction season is limited, so we make every day count. And that's why GS Construction counts on our team to get the job done right. Crews are getting back in action across the city, and we'd like you to join us. We're looking for experienced top men, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Divorce is never easy, but Fairway Divorce Solutions can help.
Their clear step-by-step process addressed all our issues, and we moved through the process quickly.
Fairway didn't take sides. They saved us money and heartache.
My ex, the kids, and I feel like we'll all be okay.
At Fairway Divorce Solutions, trained mediators and in-house lawyers will move your divorce process forward in a professional and efficient manner to achieve a fair resolution and separation agreement. Visit fairwaydivorce.com.
The tents are up and the deals are out. The Brick's biggest sale of the season is on now. Take up to 60% off clearance items in the tents. Sofas start at $399 and save up to 50% on select mattresses. Plus, only until Monday, take until $20.30 to pay with 0% interest. Get a sofa, coffee table, mattress, bed frame, and dining set, all for less than $1,500. Only at the Bricks tent sale. OAC, see in store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey, it's Jamie from Green Drop Lawn Care. From the big mall in the west to the Arena District downtown, Edmonton is beautiful. But when I see your lawns, I know one thing's for certain. Weeds are coming. Be proactive and take advantage of our early bird savings until April 30th.
Green Drop has been Canada's lawn expert since 1979. And they're in your community, keeping your yard looking beautiful with affordable lawn care packages that include fertilizer, weed control, drought fighter, and more. Visit greendrop.com.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 9:01 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on a Thursday morning. So glad you could spend some time here now in hour number 3 of the Kevin Karius Show. Time to talk a little basketball with Paul Sir from Hoop City. Good morning, Paul. You're with Kevin Karius once again. As always, thanks for jumping on Sports 1440. Big guy, really appreciate it.
Great to be here, Kevin. Thank you.
You know, I was flicking through the channels last night, Paul, and I thought that there was a chance that the Raptors were going to take Game 5. They had the lead, and then into the fourth quarter. What do you think? They just ran out of gas and the injuries. What did you make of the ending of that game here, Paul?
Yeah, I think so. Certainly having Brandon Ingram go out early in the game with a foot injury that he's battled with for quite some time. That's a negative. But having said that, the Raptors played well until the fourth. Dennis Schroeder, the backup point guard that the Cavaliers acquired close to the trade deadline, really paid dividends last night as he had a massive second half in particular, but the fourth quarter specifically. And the Raptors just had a hard time scoring in the fourth, got down quite a bit, then fought their way back, almost were able to pull it off. And, going into Game 6, once again, you can look at this Raptors team and say they have more than a legitimate shot at making this a 7-game playoff series. They're competing really well with Cleveland. Whether they're quite good enough or not to win the series, remains to be seen. I think, of course, it favors the Cavaliers, but the Raptors, they had 2 really good wins in Toronto and did everything but win the game last night. So hopefully they'll be ready to go when they play on Friday night.
So here's one for you, Paul, from a coaching perspective. And sometimes we talk about a homer series and the teams winning in any sport. Could be whatever you're talking about in a best of 7. They win at home, but, on the road, that home team wins. What is it about, this series right now that you thinking, if they can hold serve at home, that you can force a Game 7? Maybe just your perspective from a coach, how you approach that.
One criticism I would have of the fourth quarter last night was which players were taking the shots. Shed, the point guard, has filled in admirably for Quickly, who's been injured. And he had 18 last night. I mean, those are good numbers. But is he really the guy down the stretch that you want taking the most shots? Probably not. And I thought Scotty Barnes was too quick to defer and to make to make the quick pass as opposed to try to size up who was guarding him. And there were a couple of occasions where he had James Harden on him. So there was a mismatch there that he should have taken advantage of, to be blunt about it. So I really think down the stretch, RJ Barrett's been playing really well. You would want the offense working through Scotty and RJ with Ingram being out. And I thought that there was a reason why Shed was open, is because the Cavaliers weren't as worried about him, even though he was having a good game. But he had 3 or 4 outstanding looks and was not able to hit any of them. Now, so to me, fourth quarter management has to come into it. So from a coaching standpoint, I think those are the adjustments. Scotty Barnes has played really, really well. But if he has an ongoing weakness, is that in clutch situations, he tends to get rid of the ball a bit too quickly. Scotty Barnes has to be the principal offensive weapon in those situations, working with RJ Barrett. So that's what I'm hoping they will do. They have to keep up their tough defensive effort. They've done a pretty darn good job on Mitchell and Harden in slowing them down. So the Raptors have a shot. They have a legitimate shot at home with the home court advantage in front of these great Toronto fans to be able to take this to a 7th game.
Yeah. How much do you think the fans come into play here, Paul?
I think they come in. They always come in to play in a big way. Now we know from experience, it's easy to say you have home court advantage. Oftentimes in pro sports, there's home court pressure too that affects teams differently. But it seems to be the relationship of how the Raptors play in front of their home crowd. They seem to play better when they're energized by the home crowd really getting behind them. So I think the Raptors do have a distinct advantage going into this. I think this will help them. If Ingram can't go, that does hurt. Quickly is not available as well. But hey, across the playoff spectrum, injuries are huge in terms of how they're going to affect not just the outcomes of this series, but the next series as well.
Yeah, Paul Sir with us on Sports 1440. You mentioned Jamal Shed, and he was 4 for 10 from three-point line. Where are you at with Jacoby Walter, who attempted 14, I believe, and had 6 3-pointers last night?
I like that because Walter has one job. That's to shoot the 3. So if he gets good looks, he has to take them. The Raptors have been criticized fairly so throughout the regular season, Kevin, about their inability to consistently hit the 3-point shot. So you bring in Jacoby Walters, who is a 3-point shooter. You have to feed him. You have to give him opportunities to take the 3-pointers because he has the capability, like he did last night, to go 6 for 14. And that helps Scotty, RJ, and the other players to be more effective when you're able to have a legitimate deep threat like Walter is. So he's got to keep shooting. And if I have a criticism, if I could point that out, I don't think the Raptors have done a great job through the course of the season of trusting guys that are supposed to shoot the ball, and they've deferred to their back to the basket play too often. So I think that's a real encouraging sign. If Walt, he doesn't have to go 6 for 14, but if he can go 4 for 10, numbers like that, that's going to loosen up what the rest of the offensive players are able to do during the course of a game.
Paul Sir from Hoop City, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. So the Detroit-Orlando series, I mean, the Magic are giving the Pistons everything they can handle and then some. But what a head-to-head duel between a couple of players last night in Banchero and Cunningham, Paul. What did you make of game number 5 where the Pistons stayed alive?
Pair of 45s. You don't see that very often when you've got 2 players going off for 45, and they were magnificent. Both players were spectacular. And I think what we have finally seen, which has been long expected and hoped for, is the emergence of Banchero as a legitimate NBA upper echelon player. He has led this Magic team, which had a very, very disappointing regular season. And you have to factor in injuries because they were significant in what players were available through the course of the year. But they've really come together now against a Pistons team that had an outstanding regular season. And what I like about this series is the way both teams are competing at such a physical high level. I mean, these guys are just getting after it. And to see Cunningham and Banchero be able to go off against the physical defenses that they were playing against, that makes it all the more impressive to me. So Detroit, they're scratching and clawing to stay alive. Now going back to Orlando, where they're going to be at home now. I still give Detroit a shot at making this a 7-game series, but you have to give the Orlando Magic credit. They have played extremely well. Now with Wagner out, that really puts them in a tough spot, and I think improves Detroit's chances to extend this series.
Yeah, and what about the Rockets staying alive in that series with the Lakers, Paul, winning Game 5 last night?
Yeah, and again, injuries on both teams are huge contributors to where this series is. But the Lakers, I think, surprised everybody when they came out of the gate and won 3 in a row. Now they're really having a hard time finishing, even though they got Austin Reeves back last night. And this is where the conundrum comes in. Austin Reeves comes back, has 22, but Luke Kennard, who has been a pretty good contributor, has 1 point. Like my college coach would always say, you're no better than a cadaver if you get 1 point and no rebounds, because they can do the same. So Kennard has to be more effective. LeBron's playing fantastic, 25 again. But the Rockets seem to have found their groove without Durant, and they're getting some outstanding performances now. So I look, you know what? This could be the first time that we see a team come back. This could be. I don't have enough belief in the Lakers as they're presently constructed, even though Ayton is playing extremely well, finally seeing some good playoff performances from him. But I give the Rockets a good shot at taking this to the 7th game, and the Lakers are just hard to believe in right now.
Yeah. 1 point and no boards. That's like Ollie from Hoosiers, isn't it, Paul? I think he might have had a couple more.
Good comparison. Absolutely.
Actually, I think he had a couple more. I always laugh at, in that movie when I watch it. And that made me think of it when you said 1 point and no boards and a cadaver, Paul. And after, he makes the free throws, and then they're going on, and he's being interviewed after, and he says, well, I knew it was going in all the way and whatever. And then Gene Hackman says, was it Norman Dale? He goes, did you really? Yeah,
You know what Gene Hackman said about that movie?
No.
He said, this is going to ruin my career. He said, this is the worst movie I've ever been in my life, and this is going to ruin my career. I think he told the female, her name escapes me right now, the female star, be prepared. This is really going to hurt you. Turns out to be a huge success, cult favorite that has stood the test of time and still to this day is a joy to watch.
Yeah, Barbara Hershey was
Barbara Hershey. There you go.
And you're right, stood the test of time. And I'll be honest, it's one of the movies, if you're flicking through the channels and it's on, I always stop.
Same here. Yeah. Same here. It's such a great show. Underwhelming in terms of the production values and overwhelming in terms of the human story. It's just a fantastic sports movie.
Yeah. Paul Sir with us from Hoop City. All right, 3 games tonight, Paul. All could be wrapped up. Out of the 3 games tonight, how many are you going to pick that will come to a conclusion tonight?
Celtics, 76ers, that should be over.
Okay.
That's number 1. Knicks Hawks is intriguing to me because now we're going to find out how good the Knicks are. They sputtered out of the gate. They've come back and played, much better, stealing one in Atlanta, getting it back in New York in the Garden. Brunson has been, incredible. I think he had 39 the other night. It was a remarkable performance. So tonight's going to be interesting. But I'm going to go with the Knicks closing this out. I believe the Knicks. I believe the Knicks are going to be able to do that. The Hawks look uncertain right now, and perhaps the home court will energize them. But I'm going to go with the Knicks ending it.
Well,
I'm going to go. Go ahead.
I thought you were going with your Timberwolves here, Paul. I thought
you know what? I'm going with the Nuggets to make it a 7th game.
Oh, good. Wow.
I think the loss. My gosh. I always refer to, and a lot of people do, but the sports gods up on Mount Olympus pushing buttons, thinking, how can we mess this up now for people? And you can't make it up that Dante DiVincenzo, one of 6 players in the NBA who played all 82 games this season, goes out with an Achilles. And as soon as he went down, it was like, I've had that injury, and you could see the way his foot moved. It was like, yeah, that he's done. That poor guy's done. And then Ant's hyperextended knee, he was walking wounded anyway.
Yeah.
But I think the loss of those 2 players compared to the loss of Gordon and Watson on the part of Denver, I think it slightly favors Denver. I just don't know. But I'm, the Wolves have been, they're courageous as heck. I love the way they've been playing. They're playing extremely hard. They're playing fearlessly. They rattled Joker, although Joker seemed to get it back this last game. But I'm picking Denver to extend this series out.
Well, remember when we did our picks and I had Denver going to the final, so I wouldn't need this. I think so.
Hope's still alive.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Paul. Finish up.
No, after you, please.
I was just going to change gears and just talk. We had some highlights just watching the loop here in the studios with the Toronto Temple playing their game last night. It seemed like, for the first WNBA game, albeit, the season hasn't started yet, but, for that to happen was pretty exciting, I thought.
It's great to have women's professional basketball in Canada. I mean, it is really historic. I think it's a great move for the country, for the sport, of course. I love I should say this. I have a love-hate attitude towards the WNBA. They mess too much with the wrong stuff as a league, but to see women's professional basketball moving forward incrementally with 2 new franchises, a better collective bargaining agreement. But interesting fact, Kevin, is that one of the impacts of this new agreement is the dramatic rise in prices for WNBA tickets. So even the Indiana Fever, with Caitlin Clark being back, are having a hard time selling out their home opener. So it's going to be another uneven season. And so, but as far as it relates to the Toronto Temple, welcome to Canada. It's great to have women's basketball up here. Kia Nurse playing on the team gives it a significant profile of Canadian talent, much like RJ Barrett playing for the Raptors. It looks like from an organization standpoint, they're trying to do everything at a very high level. And I think it's going to be real exciting for how this is going to impact girls basketball across the country.
I think so too. Maybe we have a Vince Carter effect on the women's side. I don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah. What's coming up on Hoop City on Saturday morning, Paul?
We're going to have the great Get That Garbage Out of Here Jack Armstrong on. We'll talk about the Raptors and what is wonderful about the timing of that conversation. We will know the result after the Friday night game, where the Raptors have to stave off elimination against the Cavs back in Toronto. So really looking forward to getting together with Jack on that. And then Ben Golliver will be back. We'll go into the weeds on all that's going on in the NBA and beyond. And then we have our community champion segment too. This will be focused on a fellow in a small town in Alberta who has built up 3x3 to a real dynamic level. So it's Roland Morris is going to be on with us too. So we'll have a great show. Josh.
Well,
I will have Josh on.
I was going to bring Josh in this morning, Paul, but I looked over. He didn't look like he was prepared to come in. I was going to do a tap to the bullpen and bring in a right-hander. Well, but he didn't look like he was ready to come in over here. He's shaking his head. I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess though, when you and I are espousing such wisdom at such depth, it is intimidating.
Well,
and so Josh is a young guy, Kevin. I guess we have to cut him some slack here.
It ain't me spewing that wisdom, Paul, on basketball. I know that. It
ain't me either.
Yeah. Hey, as always, great insight. Thanks for coming on, Paul. And we'll be listening on Saturday morning.
My pleasure, Kevin. You have a great week.
You too. Paul Sir from Hoop City. You hear it every Saturday with Josh Fenwick from 10 to 12 following the Triple S. Josh, you didn't look ready. I was looking over a couple times and you're like, I don't know if it was. And again, you guys are talking about Wordle and you're talking about, crosswords?
No. Hey, I 100% see where you're coming from, and I would have loved to get in on the conversation, but I'm sort of fighting some demons over here currently.
Demons?
Yeah. So I was like, I was just, looking at the playoff picture and was like, if he says we're going to bring in Josh Fenwick here, I'm like, I can do it. But
what demons? Like, what are you like from
I'm gonna
Hangover here or what?
Oh, I'm going to have to go fight something in this next segment. I tell you what.
I got you. All right. Well, see you later. When we come back, Liam Harobin from Oilers Nation on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, who's banged up, bad finger. Josh Fenwick, who's just fighting it as well. I have no idea how we're getting through a Thursday morning. We're on Sports 1440 AM radio, as you know, but we're streaming as well on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Your protein drink should work as hard as you do. That's why Booster Juice is hitting the gym harder than ever, brother. Meet your new gym buddies, the Way Too Good and Green Gains Booster Mixers. 2 new ripped and refreshing menu options that bench some serious protein. Perfect for pre or post-workout. Way Too Good and Green Gains Booster Mixers taste like motivation. So what are you waiting for? Let's go!
Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell. And we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me. GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street or business online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
It's summer. It's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
Everything is going to be okay. If you're feeling the weight of too much debt, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal will eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we've got your back. Do you have it?
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 922 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you for a while. Josh will be with us anyway. Time to talk a little puck stuff with Liam Harobin from Oilers Nation. Good morning, Liam. You're with Kevin Karius once again. Thanks for always jumping on Sports 1440, big guy. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for always calling me back, Kevin. You're the only one that calls, so I'll always come back.
Duke's the guy that's dialing it up here, Liam. Hey, before we get to the Oilers and everything, as everyone, I think a lot of our listeners know, you're a scout with the Penticton Vs in the Western Hockey League. Mm-hmm. It was a hell of a season for the Vs. Don't have to tell you that, but just a thought on how things wrapped up in Penticton, losing 4 straight to Everett. And I mean, Everett is just a real good team here, Liam.
Yeah, they're a great team. I mean, they've got so much talent on that team. They should have a pretty good chance of, honestly, they'll probably win the Western League, and I wouldn't be surprised if they end up winning the Memorial Cup as well. They've got that much talent on their team. But yeah, just in that series, I think the V's were right there with them most games. Like if you look at the box score, like it's tight until the third period, and then Everett, I guess you could just say a couple extra sticks over what the V's ended up having. They're quite an established team, so they played a great series. But yeah, overall, I mean, hard to be disappointed with how it ended overall, right? Like, I mean, we were an expansion team that made it to the conference final with only 2 players signed to NHL deals, 1 player on NHL Central Scout, and like the odds were stacked against us from the beginning. And I think the funny part about it now is how everyone's already doubting us for next season. It's like, well, we've not even dropped the puck on anything yet, and you already think we're all going to finish last. So I would just say maybe don't doubt Fred and his team in Penticton, because over and over again they prove that they're a great coaching staff and can do anything they really put their minds to.
So the process taken by the organization in Penticton here, Liam, I mean, obviously it worked well this year. There's different avenues, different ways to assemble a team when you are an expansion team. Maybe just tell our listeners about the thought process of how the organization wanted to attack this year. And then again, it's maybe different than what some other maybe expansion teams have done in the past.
Yeah, so we were allowed to have 4 20-year-olds, which was supposed to be an advantage for us. And I mean, our 420s were all great, but I think a big thing that the staff wanted to put in place for this season was have that V's culture still intact. So we had to acquire a lot of players that were part of the V's team from the BCHL team and bring them over to the Western League, but they were all attached to other teams already in the league. So our captain, Nolan Stevenson, was with us last season, and I think that was a big part of it. It was like Stevenson, Evers, there's a couple other guys too, but they went for that side, and they were an older group. They had a lot of 19-year-olds, but the big thing is they needed to prove that they could win in the Western League, and it wasn't win the whole thing, of course, but just like prove that they could compete, because we needed the fans to get behind us and support us the whole way. So that was a big thing. Is just we had to get going right away, and the goal from the start of the season was honestly make the playoffs, and then obviously that swings as the season goes. And I know the Memorial Cup was a huge target for us. Obviously we didn't end up getting there, but there was a lot of obstacles on the way too. Like the team was obviously older, but we weren't really allowed to bring in younger players. Like there was no 2009s available in the draft. Like a lot of the 2008s that were available in the expansion draft like aren't even in the league today. So if some of those players were on our team, and not to disrespect them, they're just not ready to play at that level, like we probably would have finished dead last, and we'd be looking at it. So I wonder what Madden Deneau or Parker McMillan might look like in Penticton V's jerseys. But luckily, we're not doing that. And I think anyone would rather be on the winning side of things on a night-to-night basis. So, yeah, I think the V's did a great job this season on the ice and off it, too. The staff was awesome.
Hey, one last one just before we get to Oilers, Liam. And regarding the PA Medicine Hat series, I can't figure this series out, to be honest with you. So Medicine Hat lost to PA last night, 6-3. The series is 2-2 now, but there's been 3 blowouts, if you want to call it, or lopsided scores, and then 1 in overtime. So how do you see this one shaken down for the remainder, which is now just a best of 3?
Oh, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. This one's got to go to 7. I think it deserves to go to 7 games. But yeah, it's such a weird series to try and track. And it just, what was it? Bob McKenzie always used to say, right? It's like momentum doesn't carry game to game. And in this series, that is very evident. So yeah, it's hard to really judge. But I mean, I think a ton of credit should go to Medicine Hat for being where they are this season. Like their record, they obviously won the Western League last season, for those who don't know. And their record this season, after losing so many guys like Gavin McKenna, is better than it was the year previous, which is a crazy thing. But I think this one, actually, it might be Prince Albert's time to get over the hump again, I think, and get back to the finals. They've got a lot of good players. I think a lot of those guys might leave next season too, so it might be their last chance to really give it a good go. But yeah, I think I'll lean to Prince Albert in 7 games, though.
Well, it's funny, we had David Schlemko on as, our Wednesday co-host. He played in Medicine Hat, played for Willie Desjardins, and he just calls it the Willie factor. And again, no McKenna, no Lindstrom, and here they are. They're still kicking around. Liam Hurlman, Oilers Nation, with us on the Kevin Karius Show. So we got game number 6 tonight. Ducks and Oilers. Do the Oilers get it back to Edmonton, Liam, for a Saturday night Game 7?
I mean, you would hope so, obviously, but I think this game is so different to the Game 5 they played the other day. Obviously, this one's on the road, but I just think the Oilers in that game, they took a lot of it in the second and third period. But I do think that was a bit part of strategy in some way. Like, they still limited the amount of chances that Anaheim was going to get. Like, a lot of Anaheim's goals in this series have been off the rush, right? 2-on-1s, whatever it may be. So I think the Oilers did a good job in that aspect of things. But I think this game tonight will be a lot tighter. I do think the Oilers will get it done, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see another overtime here. But I just wonder if the Oilers can come out and do what they did again. Because I think last time the big part of it was the fan base, like, really brought the energy the other day on Tuesday night, wasn't it? So I think that helped the Oilers get going. So I think they'll be able to bring it back to Edmonton. What happens from there will be obviously up to the Oilers again, but I think it'll be a lot tighter tonight than it was the other day.
What do you think of the change of lines for game number 5 and how well it worked out with Connor and Leon playing together?
Yeah, I thought it worked well. We actually talked about that a little bit on our show before, because if people remember back to when Leon got hurt against the Kings, however many series ago that was, they just threw him right next to McDavid and kind of rode him for the rest of the playoffs. So it seems like they might do that here with McDavid. Obviously, he's slightly compromised. It's pretty apparent. So I think having Leon next to him is quite a good thing. And also, too, I'm glad it's not Zach Hyman, because that line just hasn't really worked this season. I mean, it's obviously not been bad to 3 great players, but it just feels a little lackluster to what it has been in years past. And Kasperi Kapanen, outside of Podkolzin, arguably the hottest forward on the team in this playoff so far. So I think putting him there has been good. I thought it was interesting they pulled out Frederick, but obviously at the end of the day, I think if everyone can just put aside the contract, Trent Frederick is just a 4th-line player on this team, and those guys rotate in and out of the lineup all the time. But yeah, I think this lineup really, though, is all kind of come down to that second line. Like, how do Nuge, Hyman, and Podkolzin perform? And that's really been the thing whenever you put McDavid with Draisaitl, and how is the rest of the team going to follow up? But they seem to gel well. I'll be curious tonight, though, because that wasn't the lineup that started the game. It seemed like Knobloch was trying to play some mind games a little bit with his lineup choices. So we'll see if he tries to do something similar tonight.
Yeah, Liam Harobin with us in Sports 1440. I said earlier on the show, to me, the second line of Podkolzin, Nugent Hopkins, and Zach Hyman's going to be, a difference, if not the difference tonight. And I tell you what, I never even thought about it until Chris Knobloch said after game 5, he felt that, last year going in, and it would have been going into the Cup final, their most effective, or one of their most effective threesomes, was the fact that they had Nugent Hopkins with Hyman and Evander Kane together. And then he put Coles into coming in for an Evander Kane. So I thought that was something that not a lot of people maybe remembered from last year. And then it obviously didn't work out because Hyman got hurt in the Dallas series.
Yeah, I do remember that line, and it's a good reminder because, Podkolzin, Kane, I would just say Podkolzin's obviously a little bit more disciplined than what Kane ended up being. Didn't have the reputation that the refs would just call him for everything he would do as well in the finals, that being Kane. But that line was huge, and they were scoring goals. Obviously, they were chipping in, but I think everyone, if you remember about Zach Hyman, he was just hitting everything that moved last season, and that's how he was kind of like making his bag, I guess you could say, in the playoffs. So yeah, it's always been that second line, though, right? And it's going to be the difference maker for the Oilers. But we've seen Jason Dickinson have such a big impact on this team too. I never thought he would, his impact of not being there would be so gigantic as well. His presence without him was so felt when he was away. So hopefully he can keep rolling as well. But the forwards aren't the issue. Like, the offense is not the issue on this team. It's the idea of, hey, can you guys actually defend for moments and not just allow so many chances against? And that, for me, is what worked out last game. Is it was their lowest expected goals against the entire series, and the first time they've allowed, what was it? The expected goals was less than 3, which seems like a crazy thing in this series. Like, it's just scoring goals for fun.
Yeah. Liam Harobin with us on Sports 1440. Evan Bouchard had his best game by far of the series. Maybe just touch on what the Oilers need from him, from big number 2 again tonight.
Yeah, he just played very poised hockey game, didn't he, at both ends of the ice. I've liked. He obviously started the season very poorly, but I feel like he's gradually got a lot better. I thought Ekholm was really good last game too, and Warman as well. And it's no coincidence they both played with Evan Bouchard for decent portions of that game. And I think that with Bouchard, it's the offense, I guess, his confidence going, right? Like when he's making those plays and connecting on them, it seems to be that's when his defense comes around on things too. But for Bouch, it just really is like keeping it poised for him and trying to. It's funny, isn't it? Because he plays quick, but it seems like he plays incredibly slow sometimes as well. But just about keeping pucks moving. And again, he's probably the best defenseman in this series. And when he's on his game, he's untouchable. Like last game, he had 3 great assists, and didn't even register a shot on goal, which everyone labels as his best trait, and he'd even use it. So yeah, I thought he played fantastic the other day, and I thought there was many players that played their best game of the series because, quite frankly, they had to. Otherwise, they'd all be on a beach right now.
Yeah, they need it. The urgency levels at an all-time high. Hey, Duke just about fell out of his chair when you said Bouchard was the best defenseman in the series here.
Well, it's not even close, actually, Duke. Sorry. Jackson Coleman will be great, but today is not his day.
Oh, wow, Duke, aren't you ready to chime in here? I think, holy cow.
Well, I think we're seeing the emergence of Jackson Lacombe. A big coming out party for him has been one of the best kept secrets in the NHL for the past 2 seasons. Yeah, as of today, Bouchard is a better defenseman than Jackson Lacombe, but we'll see how if Lacombe can shorten that gap here over the next few seasons moving forward.
Well, he's got a bad finger here, Liam, so I don't know. I thought he started to shake his fist at you. I thought maybe his finger was going to fall off or something.
Well, that's the only reason Lacombe's defending McDavid is because he's got a bad ankle, bad hand, bad this, bad that. It's the only way he can keep up with them, Duke.
Oh, there you go. What's shaking down on Oilers Nation here as we close it out here, Liam?
Yeah, obviously big game 6 breakdown today. We'll be joined by Steve Peters, the former Arizona Coyotes video coach. So go through some video with him, see how we can expose Jackson Lacombe a little bit more, and go from there. Hopefully we'll be back here for game 7.
Good stuff, Liam. As always, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, see you guys. Have a good one.
Liam Harobin from Oilers Nation, also scouts with the Penticton Bees. They lost their Western Conference final in the WHL to Everett for love. Everett's lost 1 game in so far in the playoffs. Steve Hamilton there, and they're going hard. And what do they want? They want Medicine Hat and PA just to pound the snot out of each other for 3 more games and then see what happens in the final. Hey, for Oiler fans, today was not a good day in Oilers history. It was 40 years ago today. 40 years. Feels like not yesterday, but it does feel like 40 years. That's the Steve Smith own goal on Grant Fuhr that ended the Oilers' quest, I guess, for a three-peat. And you know that it's the only time that the Flames have defeated the Oilers in a playoff series. Did you know that, Josh Fenwick? Big Flames fan that you are?
Unfortunately, I did know that.
So the only way that the Flames can beat the Oilers in a playoff series is if someone puts the puck in the back of their own net.
Hey, you know what? Luck would be good to be lucky. Know what I'm saying?
Do you know who got credit for the goal?
I don't know. McInnes.
No. Duke knows, but well, maybe you don't know Duke.
Ooh, was it Theo?
No.
You've said it before. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
no, it wasn't Joey Mullen. Wasn't Joel Otto. No. It was a guy I actually did a lot of game. No, stop it, SKS. It was a guy that I've done a lot of games with, a lot of work with at the Max Midget tournament back in the day.
Oh, yes, of course, because I was always watching that.
On New Year's Day, I'm telling you guys this. On New Year's Day years ago, and we're talking 20 years ago, maybe more, 25. There were no games on New Year's Day. People watched the Max final because there was nothing else on. There was nothing else on, and everyone watched the Max Midget final. Guys like Zach Parise, that was the first time that guys like that played on television with a real game, with a broadcast crew and stuff.
20 years ago, I was 2.
Well, it was more than that. It was whatever, but when Zach Parise played, it's probably 25, maybe more. Perry Berezan. Harry Berezin got credit.
Of course. Right
Of
on the
course,
tip
yeah.
of my tongue.
Yeah, you look like Doc Smith from Back to the Future there. Of course. What? How could I miss it? The flux capacitor. When we come back, looks like it's going to be in or out with the Duke of Delburne on the Kevin Carey Show with Duke and Josh Fenwick and SKS. Sean Smith's in studio. Already his mouth is watering for the possible buffet hunting that's going on tomorrow. We're on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO. Mr. Rooter says 1 plunge, 2. What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow! People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial. If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
It's the EV for City Wildlife, the all-new, all-electric 2026 Subaru Uncharted. Quick charging with get-up and go performance. And best of all, so much fun. So test drive the all-new, all-electric 2026 Uncharted today and discover why it's definitely the Subaru for you. The EV for City Wildlife. To learn more about this very exciting arrival and all things Subaru, start here. Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Hey, it's Jamie from Green Drop Lawn Care. From the big mall in the west to the Arena District downtown, Edmonton is beautiful. But when I see your lawns, I know one thing's for certain. Weeds are coming. Be proactive and take advantage of our early bird savings until April 30th.
Green Drop has been Canada's lawn expert since 1979. And they're in your community, keeping your yard looking beautiful with affordable lawn care packages that include fertilizer, weed control, drought fighter, and more. Visit greendrop.com.
The Ford It's a Big Deal event is on now. Get a big deal on a 2026 F-150 STX with Black Appearance Package. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
You're listening to Sports 1440 and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sports 24/7. We are Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:43 in Edmonton. I was just texting my buddy Sean Pierce at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Went on the computers and decided to check a score update of Eddie Steele after 2 holes of play, +4. double bogey to start the round. So if my math is correct, Duke, if he wants to shoot 80, he would have to come in with a scintillating. Well, he's got room for it's a par 71, right? So he's got room for 5 more bogeys. 4 more if he wants to crack 80. Good luck, Eddie. Text 833-401-1440. IMAX says Parisi was assistant coach of the team at the Brick Tournament last couple of years. Well, you betcha he was, IMAC. We had him in studio last year. 2 years ago, Duke? Oh, man.
It was in the old studios.
Well,
we would have been in this studio in the Brick Tournament.
You're correct.
Summertime.
Yes. Yeah, you're right, because Craig Stiles was in here in this studio. You're right. So
As was Tom Gilbert.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Tom Gilbert last year.
Also at the Brick Tournament.
Joe Daddy texts in. I saw Spec send a post out about Jack Roslovic being playoff Jack Roslovic right now with just 1 assist. Joe Daddy texts in and says, hey, guys, would you sit Roslovic for a game and bring Frederick back in? Never. No. Still, Roslovic can do so many things right now a lot better than what Frederick can. Not saying Frederick doesn't ever get back in again. I mean, for that to happen, the owner's got to win, obviously. But no, Roslovic, and again, that line with Dickinson on the limp, Roslovic and Savoy, they got to show up tonight on that third line. If the lines are the same, if it's Dickinson, Roslovic, and Savoy, because both Roslovic and Savoy have been quiet in the series. Hey, time now for In or Out, brought to you by Pro Solutions. If you need fast air condition service, Pro Solutions offers expert repairs, tune-ups, and installs with flexible financing. Book your appointment now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or are you out? In or out of what? No time for questions, just action. In or out? Well, then I'm out. I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Duke, let her buck.
Game day for the Edmonton Oilers, Elimination Edition, part number 2, as they once again will try to force another game, this time decisive game number 7 back on home ice Saturday night, trailing the series 3-2. For the Oilers to win and do so, it will need to come via a second straight under cashing in the game, currently set at 7.
Wow.
7. So technically, and it was 7 actually on Sunday as well. So it's been 4 over or 3 overs, a push, and an under so far from that side of the things for the Oilers and Ducks so far.
Well, I'm looking at your second question, Duke, as well. So I'm kind of going, what are we doing
I'm
here?
doubling down.
Yeah.
I'm doubling down.
So for the Oilers to win, and what did Frank Stradamus say?
He said his play was the under.
Total under. He said total under. So I'm in the same thought process here, I think, as for the Oilers to win. Yeah. You know what's funny, Duke? They don't want to get into exchanging chances and stuff like that. And then you watch the Utah series with Vegas, and then Vegas is going, okay, let's try it. I don't care, whatever. And then, but they're having success. But having said that, it was a shorthanded goal. But I'm going to go, yes, I'm in for that. They need to. They can score. We know they can score. We know the Ducks can score. The Oilers have played better 5-on-5 in this series. As far as the scores go, they've had a better result. We talked about it earlier in the series, Duke. Just because the Oilers, I think it was at 8-4 at that point. The Oilers had 8 5v5.
I think that was going into game 4.
Fair. And
or I guess it would have been going into game 2 or game 3 because they hadn't scored a power play goal.
Game 3.
Game 3, yes, yes. Excuse me.
But even at that point, and that was the Friday show. That was last Friday, Duke. And we said, listen, even though that the Oilers are outscoring Anaheim 8-4 and 5v5, they're not head and shoulders above Anaheim in 5v5.
They weren't doubling the quality of play at 5-on-5 as the goal total would reflect.
Not a chance. But so they got to defend and they got to play harder, and they got to play hard all the time and play tougher. And not just for 35 minutes or whatever. So I'll say yes, they need to kind of keep this under wraps. Don't get into a gong show 5-4 game. How's that sound?
And I feel like this has been the same sentiment, and we've said it over and over again, going all the way back to our preview of the series. Like, the Oilers could win track meet games. We saw them do it in game 1, but they probably will win the boring, grinded out style that we kind of saw for most of game number 5, right? Yes, the Ducks controlled most of the play in offensive zone time in the second half, but as we said yesterday, they didn't get a ton of grade A chances. Ingram made a few good stops, no doubt about it, but largely they were willing to just play a shell defense, keep everything to the outside, clear the zone, get a change, do it over again. That is how the Oilers can win this game and win the series, for that fact, in authoritative fashion, right? As opposed to, and especially on the road, we've seen the Honda Center be a pretty raucous environment in the 2 games they've had so far, giving them the chance to get into it, get the siren going, get the crowd into it, but trading goals back and forth, that doesn't seem the recipe to success. With that all being said, simple prediction for tonight's game, number 6. I'm doubling down, Kev. Ducks win 5-4, and
come on.
I could see this being an overtime contest once again, and I'll tackle, rather than going the overtime in my prediction, I will say it is again for Anaheim in comeback fashion.
So I'm out, Duke. I think again. Yeah, I'm out. Sorry, pal. But hey, you know what you did say? You said that this game was going 7 games, or this series was
originally.
Going 7.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So then at least you're right about that.
Suppose
it's a win-win for you, Duke.
But and this is me talking on both sides of my mouth a little bit. In our official Sports 1440 predictions that Mackenzie patched together on our socials, I said Oilers in 7.
That's right.
But in my official bracket that I submitted and tweeted out via my own personal social
page. So you just
page,
play both sides.
Well, of course. But like I said, and even in the video, I said, am I making this prediction with my heart or with a little bit more in my head? The Ducks have surprised even me in this series. They have. And I watched this team all year long. Now, I still believe, going in, I thought the Ducks could win, as example, by a 7-game series. But then I thought about it a little bit more. I was like, you know what? I say they win it on home ice.
Why
and that's
not?
what I'm going with tonight. In the year they won the Cup, Kevin, 07, they clinched every series on home ice.
Again, I look in the room and I see all the guys, Duke, from an Oilers perspective here. And I see, I go back to 2 years ago and you see Connor unconsolable. You see Zach Hyman saying, we're going to get back here. And they did. And you see all the miles that are on this team and everything that they've gone through. I just don't see them going out in the first round. I'm sorry. I just don't see that happening because of the personnel that's in there. Maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, then there's a lot of bigger questions that need to be answered.
It's a fair point. Yeah. It's a fair point. Looking forward to it all the same, regardless of how things shake out. I'll be on the couch, Pepsi Lime in hand, enjoying it all 60 minutes, maybe even more. Along with Oilers and Ducks, all the remaining series at a 3-2 margin. They've all caught up with each other with teams taking more days off. Anaheim and the Oilers are the only series that hasn't got an extra day off so far in the playoffs. Of the 5 matchups, I'm predicting 3. 3 of the 5 will win 2 straight, come back, and advance through to round number 2.
Okay, so you're not taking the Oilers?
No.
Okay. So
I'm taking the ones I picked in the bracket. I've already got one loss on my bracket, Kev, with the Penguins coming up short.
Okay, so there you go there. And so I'm assuming that for tonight, you think that Dallas is...
I do.
Okay. Dallas is going to come back, and then I'm thinking, you think Utah too?
It's so funny. The way they've lost these last 2 games, like, how can you not like the way they're playing, though? So I'm taking the Mammoth, and then out east, I'm still believing in the veteran savvy of the Tampa Bay Lightning to make this a 7-game series and then hopefully take care of business on home ice.
You and Frank are not getting along today.
No, Frank and I are on opposite
Frank
ends, but that's okay.
Yeah.
No, Frank rocks, but that doesn't mean we have to agree all the time.
Just kidding. So you think Buffalo's the team that is going?
Yeah, I think Buffalo clinches.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I think Vegas clinches too, Duke.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just.
But you think Edmonton comes back?
Yeah, I think Edmonton comes back. So we differ there.
So you're in on 3 teams, maybe.
Yeah. I don't think anyone can really say what's going on with Tampa and Montreal. Like you you could say, well, Montreal's going to win. You could say Tampa's going to come back and win 2 more. I think that home ice on Game 7 will. I think it could be a difference, but Montreal's won there before. I mean, won last night. I don't know. So it's a great question. And I mean, when you look at it again tonight, maybe it's the Stars on home ice that close this one out too, Duke. And they've been the better team. They have been the better team.
Minnesota.
Sorry. Yeah, the Minnesota. Sorry.
The North Stars.
Yeah, the North Stars. Minnesota's been the better team. If Dallas power play, if the Dallas Stars power play isn't going, they're not even in this series at all, man.
It's a fair point. And we talked about this yesterday. I don't know if we actually discussed it much on air, but it was a lot of off-air chatter between you, myself, and Schlemmer that like, because we know how important goaltending is in the playoffs, maybe with the exception of this Edmonton-Anaheim series where it seems pretty irrelevant overall. Jake Ottinger has played well, but much like last night in the Tampa Bay game where Vasilevsky was rock solid again, he's been good all series, but you let in that one goal that you shouldn't. And we saw that big time from Ottinger in game number 5. The both of the last 2 goals, or not, well, the 2 that get past him, not counting the empty netter, of course, but the Foligno goal is a bad one. The one before that isn't great. It's, man, there's a lot to be said about the way that Wallstedt has outplayed him. It's Dobish going,
the McCarron goal you're talking about.
The McCarron goal was the one I really didn't like.
Me too. Hated it.
And then Dobish going toe to toe with Vasilevsky. Man, you got to give credit where it's due for these young up and comers. And Vejmelka and Hart, that's been a little bit more maybe in the same vein as what Anaheim and Edmonton are going through. It's wild. I would love to see several game 7s.
Yeah.
And as a result, I'm rooting for a few underdogs here. Third team eliminated in the playoffs was the Penguins last night, falling to the Flyers in game number 6. It's funny. You and Frank kind of touched on this. I had this banked in the question to broach today. Last night was not the final time we will see the Penguins' historic trio of Malkin, Letang, and Crosby play together, but it was the last time we will see them play together in the playoffs.
So I'm going to go in on this one too. And again, we touched on all the career years by many of the Penguins, most notably Anthony Mantha. I mean, 33 goals, amazing. With Shelovs and Surishev coming in to be the goaltenders next year, as Frank said, I think that's a question mark. You know, you have a rookie goalie and you have a guy that's, you know,
a little sporadic.
Yeah, he's a 40 game a year guy, right? So their back end is getting older again with Carlson. Maybe they decide what they're going to do with him. I just don't see it. So I'm going to be in on this one for sure.
The Penguins were one of the biggest surprises in the league this year. To themselves, even like did quote me if I'm wrong. Did Kyle Dubas himself not say they were kind of a year in transition? They want to be competitive, but there was no talk about, hey, let's get back to the playoffs and win another cup with this core group. That is never really on the table for Pittsburgh this year. And yes, they lose in the first round, but they had a great season. I have a hard time seeing them duplicate it. We're like barring some big additions and duplications of these career years you're talking about. I could definitely see them moving on from Carlson. He had a good year. Sell while you still have some value in him and see if you can recoup some assets. I love Dan Muse. I think he should be a big contender for Coach of the Year, but I don't think the Penguins are going to be back because the East around them just seems to kind of keep getting better.
How much, like if Carlson's got one more year left at 10, how much salary do you think Pittsburgh's going to have to eat here? 3? Is it because it's different than Seth Jones, obviously. Okay. Because Seth Jones has several years and Chicago's paying what, $2 million because they're on the hook for 7 in Florida. Chicago's paying $2 million for several years. So Carlson's got one more year and he's got the no move. So he's got to agree to this.
I could see them eating 25% of it.
Yeah. So that's what I said. 3.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I think that's very much in the realm of possibility. And maybe you're even will go a little bit higher if it comes in the form of a better return. Right. Fair. Which is always the case. Will they go as high as 50% on 1 year to give themselves a better return and set themselves up for this post Crosby era of the franchise?
You know, they've got some other guys that are coming off the books too. Well, they got to figure out what they're going to do with Mantha.
Yeah, it's a good time to have a career year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's a UFA. Was only making 2.5 last year.
Pretty good value for 30 plus goals. Yeah. Finally, Kevin, today is Hairstyle Appreciation Day. This is something I have a lot of relevance to with the shaved head for the past 10 years plus, more than 10 years now. At this
10
stage of my
years
life.
since you shaved your head, Duke?
Yeah, since I did my first head shave as a cancer fundraiser in my first year of university.
Wow.
Next 2 years, I would grow it back out a little bit. But essentially, since I was probably at 2021, I've been shaving my head. That's what I've been going with.
When you did that, was it kind of like the Elaine's date the swimmer?
Yeah, it was just liberating.
Really?
And now it's been a big joke amongst my friend group, one in particular, that they remain steadfast. Like, it's a joke about being bald. He's like, no, I believe Brandon can still grow a full head of hair. He just chooses not to. I've kind of been holding on to that, but now each time I shave my head again, I'm kind of thinking I'm not so sure that's the case. I think it would be pretty bad if I were to grow it out. So
you could get that Chinese cream that George sent
that
away for.
some Rogaine, maybe have it over to Turkey for some cheap implants. We can't all be like you, Kevin. Still rocking.
Duke, mine is so thin. It's not even funny.
The great silver fox look. Lots of great hairstyles for men and women to rock. But I don't think there's anything worse, maybe in history, of styling hair, maybe outside of those big powder wigs, than the currently popular TikTok famous, the broccoli top haircut.
So would that be like, what they had in like Peaky Blinders, Duke? Sort of thing?
Sort of. But like, Kevin, if you just go on your Google and just type in broccoli haircut, you'll see it's very popular. It'll come up on the images immediately. And you'll see what I'm talking about. It is similar to the Peaky Blinders, where it's very short on the sides and then more up top, but then it's also permed and kind of falls over the front. It's so popular, and I don't get it at all. I don't get how people think it looks good. I'm not sure how women find it attractive. I just don't get it at all. And listen, I have no fashion sense. I'm fine to admit that, but I don't get it.
So now that I see it, it looks like my buddy Andrew Hamilton. That's Al Hamilton's son.
Is what he's rocking, or
yes? What? Well, when he came back for like a month or 6 weeks over Christmas. That's exactly what he's in Australia. So Andrew Hamilton, I know he listens down there sometimes, and even Al would be agreeing with me as well. So that would be it. Yes, the broccoli haircut. Yeah, it didn't suit Hammy, like young Hammy, not at all. So I'm going to be in on this one, Duke. Having said that, like if you go back. Because the question doesn't say, it's just the currently popular.
Yeah, it's currently popular, but I think this is maybe the worst hairstyle of all time.
Man, I used to try.
There have been some bad hairstyles, man.
Yeah, you should see my brothers for over a year, like just terrible. He's had the same hairstyle.
Where do you stand on the mullet, Kev? And I mean the traditional mullet, not like this modern faux mullet that we see a lot of people rocking. I'm talking legitimate, at least shoulder length in the back and tight up front.
I would have had the whole package, Duke, back in the day. So not tight up front, not the business up front, party in the back. So it was just more of a hippie-ish. Well, it was sort of like, I don't know, like, lay it on the line, triumph kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I think and that was the style maybe a little more popular amongst hockey players. In the 80s and 90s, right?
Yeah.
Where it was still pretty full up all the way up top and to the front, but it was a long in the back.
Guys back in the day, Duke, when we were growing up, they were trying to get the center part going.
Okay.
And they used to say, well, feather it out, man. And I've seen some pictures back in it, and it's just terrible. Like it's embarrassing, to be honest with you. Like if a guy should have just went to a brush cut back in the day like they did in the 50s and 60s and left it at that. But no, I just looked at Andrew Hamilton in here in this TikTok broccoli top cut. So I'll be in on you with this one, Duke.
I had a big mullet when I was very young.
Did you?
Like down to my middle of my back, long in the line. And there's still pictures of it. I didn't have it when I went to school, as far as I remember. So it would have been cut before I was 4 or 5. But my mom tells me stories that my grandpa was very, very sad when we cut it off.
Well, isn't that something?
What are you? Will you ever be a guy that shaves it, Kevin?
Yeah, probably eventually.
Or will you get a nice piece?
No,
a nice
I'm not getting a piece. My brother just texted me now. Did you see that?
Yeah, I do.
He says, gloves are off, you bald peckerhead. So he's listening back in Saskatchewan. Well, all I said, he's had the same hairstyle for 50 years, Duke. More than that.
But for some
60.
people, it works.
Yeah.
Why not? Why change with
He's
what's
got
working?
a good thick head of hair, though. He does. He has a thicker head of hair. Good stuff, Duke. Oh, someone sent a picture in, Duke. Oh, no. Oh, they sent that in. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of, is when you were describing it, was this picture of your the program for the millionaires.
That was a program. Yeah, that's from almost 40 years ago. Jeff Nicholas, I think that's Nicker that sent it in. And that picture, yeah, that was the extent of the mullet there, Duke, right there.
I think that looks pretty good.
Yeah. That's a bad picture. I know now you're going to put it on the socials, aren't you?
Well, we've tweeted this picture before.
Have you? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I remember when this first came across our desk, and we thought, I was like, oh, check out young Karius.
Oh, yeah.
Stud.
Good stuff, Duke. That's In or Out. Brought to you by Pro Solutions. Check them out at prosolutionsinc.ca for fast air condition service. Josh Fenwick barely alive in studio. I mean, between him and the Duke and Schlemmer, I can't wait to tell Scotty Upshaw, his former teammate in Arizona, that Schlemmer broke his rib doing a toe pick falling into the post at the Alzheimer's tournament. Unreal. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand, high-quality promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Get noticed at fusionpromomarketing.ca. That's Fusion with a Z. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Game day for the Edmonton Oilers down in Anaheim. Oilers trying to keep their season alive. They trailed the best of 7, 3-2. Puck drop coming just after 8 o'clock Mountain. One of the games in the Stanley Cup playoff tonight has Dallas trying to keep their season alive in Minnesota against the Wild. Mini up 3-2 in that series. Getting underway just after 5:30. PWHL playoffs kick off tonight with Ottawa in Boston. Puck drop just after 5 o'clock. And in the association, 3 playoff games. The Knicks head to Atlanta trying to clinch out that series, leading 3-2. Boston will try and do the same in Philadelphia against the Sixers. And Minnesota at home with a 3-2 series lead tries to hold off comeback attempt by the Denver Nuggets. The nightcap tipping off at 7:30. In the majors today, another full slate of games. The Blue Jays kick off a series in Minnesota against the Twins. First pitch just after 5:40 with Kevin Gausman on the hill for Toronto. Elsewhere, pair of double headers with Houston and Baltimore making up yesterday's rainout. Ditto for the Giants and Philadelphia. Washington taking on the Mets. Milwaukee hosting Arizona, and the Athletics play Kansas City. Coming up in hour 4 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by former NHLer Scotty Upshaw from the Missing Curfew podcast on DraftKings Network. I'm Brendan Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Center. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Center has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Your protein drink should work as hard as you do. That's why Booster Juice is hitting the gym harder than ever, brother. Meet your new gym buddies, the Way Too Good and Green Gains Booster Mixers. 2 new ripped and refreshing menu options that bench some serious protein. Perfect for pre or post-workout. Way Too Good and Green Gains Booster Mixers taste like motivation. So what are you waiting for? Let's go!
Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Summit Restaurant. Located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common, Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
At GS Construction, we're multitaskers. We've got lots of projects going on all around Edmonton and area. Different teams across the city working towards the same outcome. Installing today what will serve generations to come. It's a rewarding career and the work never stops. That's why GS Construction is always on the lookout for great people to join us. Right now, we're looking for experienced topmen, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. So if you want to feel valued, empowered, and engaged in your work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1. Saving you money, with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2. Water skiing, tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3. Saving you more money, with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take 1 for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 10:10 in Edmonton. We might have to switch things on the fly here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 AM radio with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick. We're going to have Scotty Upshall on. He could be calling in right now, but he could be calling in at 10:20. We're just not 100% sure. So Scotty Upshall is next out of the hopper. Maybe we should go to little Cam and Eggs action by Cam Tate. I believe this will be installment number 18 as we head into game number 6. So here is another edition of Cam and Eggs.
The Oilers? Anything going on tonight? I hear they're in Anaheim tonight. You hear that too? Maybe they're going to, I don't know, Disneyland? Maybe the big California adventure with that big roller coaster. The one my grandson Nick went on the big roller coaster 5 times. Oh yeah. And when we got off and I got back in the buggy, I heard someone say, wow, that ride put that guy in a wheelchair. I digress. Game 6 tonight between the Oilers and the Ducks. It will be indeed interesting to see what happens. But that's boring, lame, lazy, no guts copy. So let's jazz things up with Cam's Calls. There you go, Cam's Calls. Let's click her into Schnell. Here we go. Cam's Calls. Connor Ingram, shutout. Oilers defense, 3 shots, first period. Evan Bouchard, +3, 1 goal. Connor McDavid, +3, 2 goals. Vasily Podkolzin, still proving he's the glue of this outfit. But perhaps the biggest thing, the straw which not only stirs the drink but makes it fizzle, is this. Good teams keep their foot on the gas every single shift of the playoffs. Every shift. And I get it. I mean, what if the guy operating the big California adventure roller coaster stopped the ride, mid-ride? Let's have sports. 1440, Poet Billy Shakes, bring us home.
The web of our life is of a mingled yarn, good and ill together. All's well that ends well. Act 4, Scene 3. Hark, thy Oilers, hark, goeth forward, onward, Cam and Eggs, weekdays, Kevin Karius Experience. Sports, 1440.
Thanks, Tater. Appreciate it, big fella. Man, he's not messing around there. So a shutout, 8 points for McDavid, 10 for Boosh. I mean, he never did give a score in there, did he, Duke? I don't know either, but yeah, he's confident. He's confident. So it looks like we'll have Scotty Upshall at probably 10:20. Wanted to get to a social media post by our own Jason Greger saying Stan Marple has put in his resignation as general manager of the Golden Bears hockey team. Gregor says that his final day will be May 31st. And Stan was with the organization a long time. He started as a player there back in the 80s. Player, coach, GM. So as Gregor goes on in his post, everyone knows that all teams in Canada West, well, in U Sports, are in transition because of what's been going on with the NCAA. But here's the other thing. Claire Drake Arena is being renovated right now. And, well, I hope it's now. But I'm going to get to that in a moment. So the Bears are playing, and the Pandas too. They're playing at Silent Ice next year, and they're practicing there. Golden Bears hockey games next year at Silent Ice Center will be at 8:30 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays. It's obviously way too late. They're going to take a hit here. Their practices are going to be at 6:30 in the morning. 6:30 in the morning. Teams can't practice at 6:30 in the morning and expect to have alert players, alert students, never mind. Good practices that you can say, what's the old adage? You practice how you play how you practice. Well, it's not going to happen at 6:30 in the morning. Not a chance, because to get to Silent Ice, just say you're on campus. Like what? You're gone at 5 in the morning? 5 in the morning, you're up, and you got to either you're taking a shuttle or you're driving yourself there. That's still yet to be determined. The bigger thing for me here is how the university is handling this renovation of Claire Drake Arena. I think it's totally wrong. It's 100% wrong. The university should have gone about this, and after Christmas, January, they knew this was coming, but prior to that, and the Bears for sure, their schedule was front loaded. They barely played at home after January, after they came back from the Christmas break. Claire Drake Arena should have been shut down in January. And all of the renovations, and this isn't the ice plant, it's all the other stuff. There's a big pipe that leaks into the Pandas dressing room and things like that. That should have started in January, and then you would have backloaded both the Pandas and Bears programs for their scheduling for next year. Maybe no games in October, maybe November, figure that out. You would have had 10 months to fix the problems there. Now, instead, you're giving up a whole season where you're playing at Silent Ice. Hey, and nothing against Silent Ice. It's one of the best facilities that we've got in Alberta. One of the very best. Lucky to have it. But the Golden Bears hockey program is going to take a hit. It's going to take a hit. And Stan Marple, I don't know. I sent a couple of texts out. Haven't responded. Haven't got a response from anybody here yet. But Stan, you can talk about guys that have a Golden Bear hockey tattoo, on their heart or their ass or whatever. Stan Marple's one of those guys. I mean, he's a guy that learned from Billy Moores and then it's the Claire Drake, Billy Moores and Rob Daum and all these guys that have this program near and dear to their heart. And Stan was one of those guys that helped this program to be where it is. So I'm sure we'll have more on this in the days to come. When we come back, Scotty Upshaw, former NHLer, played like 800 games in the NHL, but now he's got his mug out there on the Mission Curfew podcast on DraftKings Network. He'll be with us right after the break on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Want home ice advantage for your window coverings? Novo Blinds provides factory direct pricing and the fastest turnaround in the city for homeowners, builders, and commercial projects. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca.
Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder with over $3 million raised for local charities.
And his Gregor Foundation,
He's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell, and we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me, GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or business online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrobacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
This jersey was worn by the legend himself, signed and everything. You can't just wear it. I'm framing it with expressions and images.
Your prized jersey deserves better than the closet. Think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Hey, this is Todd James, honorary ride captain for the Edmonton Motorcycle Ride for Dad, raising funds and awareness in the battle against prostate cancer. Join us this Saturday for our 10th annual kickoff fundraiser at Blackjack's Roadhouse in Nisku with live music from Travolta's, playing the best 70s disco hits, silent and live auctions, 50-50 and more. All money raised goes to this June's ride in support of the Prostate Cancer Fight Foundation. That's this Saturday. Tickets just $35. Details on the Ride for Dad Edmonton Facebook page.
Measles outbreaks are occurring in Canada, including Alberta. These outbreaks are highly preventable. Measles is an extremely contagious disease that is spread easily through the air. The best way to protect yourself, your family, and your community is to ensure you are up to date with your immunizations. Don't get measles. Get immunized. Visit alberta.ca/measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting non-stop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the big program, 1021 in Edmonton. Just waiting for the arrival of Scotty Upshaw from the Missing Curfew podcast with Obi that you can hear on the DraftKings network. Uppy's going to call in momentarily. Text 833-401-1440. You know what? This is a this is a game tonight where I want to get Scotty Upshaw's comments about what the feeling is like. What's the atmosphere like in SoCal? You know, we talked about what it was like, you know, down the stretch when we had him on a Wednesday with David Schlemko. And of course, those two guys played together in Arizona several years ago. But I mean, the atmosphere tonight's going to have to be, it's going to be electric. I think too, you know, when we talk about the noise level for Oiler games here, and to be honest with you, in game number 5, I saw in the Jumbotron, it was 112.5. So that's the loudest that it's been in the playoffs. That was the loudest. And I only think it got to over 113, hair over 113 on the Stanley Cup final. And I think that was a couple of years ago. It maybe have touched 114 in the final as well, but I mean, it's right up there. Now, when you get a guy like Louis DeBrusque, when he's on the ice, bench between the benches doing the broadcast, well, and he's saying, well, it's so loud in here, you can't hear the whistles. And so it's loud in Anaheim. It's loud in so many buildings. The fans have really taken it to another level. As far, and hey, the boat horn and the fog horns, all those things help too. But how are we making out with Uppy there, Duke?
I sent a message waiting.
You think he's dropping his kids off probably?
Oh, maybe.
Remember that's what it was last time?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, dropping the kids off. Text 833-401-1440. I had that little rant about the Golden Bears and more specifically the University of Alberta. Hammer says maybe the Bears should have built a new arena 15 years ago on campus. Well, first of all, again, it's the U of A, obviously. I think that's what you're getting at, Hammer. Now, there was construction for a new arena that was, they had all, like everything starting to go in place. And then they hemmed and hawed, and that one thing led to another. It got pushed back, okay? Then it got pushed back another year. And by the time all of this happened, the budgets that were in place, and this is several years ago, the budgets that were put in place, all of a sudden, the University of Alberta, the tall foreheads reconvene, and all of a sudden, okay, let's just use, it was $5 million. Well, now all of a sudden it's at 10. And these are numbers I'm just throwing out there. But the amount of money where construction cost increased because the university was dragging its feet, it was something that has not been revisited. Now, it's not just the Golden Bears and the Pandas that use the facility. Duke, you would attest to the amount of, well, first of all, you have intramurals.
Yep, on campus events.
And you played intramurals when you were there?
That's right.
Okay. And now again, then at night with just rec hockey and adult hockey?
Beer league. I know some, what do they call it? The older guys that go and play.
Mm-hmm.
They have a specific name for it, but like they do that on weekends in the mornings and stuff. A lot of the time, some older guys go and have their drop-in skates there. Beer leagues play there pretty much all day. And in the evenings as well during the week. So it's just as busy as pretty well any other rink in the city.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, because the location is perfect. But you would have that facility generating revenue with other things. So for intramural hockey, Duke, just with intramural hockey, was that part of your student fees or did you have to add?
No.
So how did that work?
No, to register a team for any intramural sport, you had to pay, and hockey was the most expensive. Now, I was lucky because our team was put in through my fraternity, so it was part of our fraternity dues to play whatever sport you wanted. But it was, if I'm trying to remember, $700-800 for the, and you didn't play near, like, it's not like the beer leagues in the city where you're playing 30 games a year. You'd play
that was for the team.
That was for the team. Yeah. So it's very small compared to that, but it was still a cost on top of whatever else. And like I said, you only played like maybe 10 games.
Mm-hmm. And that's a long time ago. So it's probably double that now.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't imagine
now. So again, I just think that if there was more foresight, and I would love to have a conversation with some higher ups at the University of Alberta. I mean, we've had Leah Pezer in studio, head of athletics. Maybe, I don't know how much light that she could shed on it, but there's also, it goes above and beyond this. It goes higher up. For one thing, it's at pretty well every university, except for the ones in the States that make a fortune off of the main sports like basketball and football. Most universities could care less about having athletics at their institution. And that's just simply a fact, because even look at, and I'm throwing out the American comparison here, but if you look at schools like, I think it's Alabama, and it could be, I think it's the Alabama one, where the amount of money that is generated from the football and basketball teams Well, it's a lot. It's millions and millions, in the hundreds of dollars. But every other athletic department, every other team and athletic, every other team in the school loses money, loses a ton of money. Like the Bears do things where they are self-supportive, golf tournaments, they raise money, the Bears hockey, but they have the alumni to coincide and help that. So, Pods texts in, says, any update on Eddie's golf round? Well, it's 10:28 right now. He would be on about hole. Well, the way Eddie plays so slow, he's probably on the third hole right now. No, I don't have an update, Pods, but I would say he would be on hole 7, and he would be 9 over par. Let's go 9 over par. He'll finish the front 9 at 11 or 12 over. So he'll come in with it's par 35. So he'll come in with a 47. That's what I'll say, Duke. 47 on the front. What do you think? He's shaking his head. Yeah. Text 833-401-1440. Josh in St. Albert says, hey, fellas, speaking of the decibel level in Rogers for Game 5, any idea how high it was in Rexall in 2006? I swear it was louder, but I was much younger then, and I'm sure my hearing was better. Well, no, Josh in St. Albert. Yeah, you might have been younger, and your hearing was better, and it was louder. It was way louder. They never recorded it back then. The one thing I can tell you about 2006, and I will always remember this, is being in the press box on the up top, and Rexall had a wonderful view at Rexall Place for where the catwalk was. Anyway, the great writer Red Fisher, who covered the Montreal Canadiens for 50 plus years, we were, I don't know, 10, and there was not even close to being the same amount of media that was covering the Stanley Cup final. I would say we would have been about 10 seats down from one another, and Red would have been with a lot of the scribes, and where Jim Matheson and all these guys would have sat, and Terry Jones and all the great writers in Edmonton. Anyway, during the player introductions, Red Fisher he put his hands over his ears because he couldn't take it. And yes, Red at the time was probably 70 some years old, but he couldn't believe it. And the sound, and this is a guy that, and maybe he did the same thing in the old Montreal Forum, but maybe it was different when he covered, because the Canadiens, when he would have covered the last final would have been in 1993 when they won, and the last Canadian team to do so. I would say that over the course of the 90s, Josh, and this is Josh in St. Albert, not Josh Fenwick, things, and then into the 2000s where it got louder and they brought in the horns and everything else like that. So, but no, you were right. It was way louder back in old Rexall. And the other thing that came into play there would have been the acoustics in the building. The acoustics were way different. The building is smaller, for one thing. So think about, to be honest with you, the old Chicago Stadium. And that was the loudest building in the league. And the organ was, all the veins and everything about the organ would go into the seats and the stands. And that's why the place vibrated so crazy. But you could put the old Chicago Stadium inside the United Center right now. That's how small or cozy, you could say, and how cavernous, how small and cozy that the old Chicago Stadium was compared to the cavernous size of the United Center in Chicago. Large Farva texts in, did the Ducks go with Ville Husso? Dostal's been sub 900. Husso gave them that and some big saves. Get your point. We see it. But no, I would say 100% that Joel Quenneville goes back to Lucas Dostal. He's their number one guy. He is the guy that they hope is their number one guy for many years to come. They sign him to the long-term contract because of that. But to be honest with you, he's got to be a whole lot better than what he's been if the Ducks want to win this series. Would a 3-0 3 goals in the first period, first 10 minutes of the game. Does that come into play? Well, goaltenders nowadays are so mentally strong and mentally tough. He would have erased that by the time he got to the bench. By the time he got to the bench, when he knew he was getting the hook, he went down the tunnel and he probably thought about it. And then, as the game progressed, he's already thinking to game number 6. He'll be the starter for the Ducks tonight. Slurpy Sean says, I was there in 06. It was way louder. They need to bring back the silver tassels. Get rid of the orange towels. Hey, Dickie Richard, Tricky Dickie. I was a paramedic in Edmonton during the 06 Cup run. It was crazy. The streets were wild, and it was one of the funnest times I've had as a medic. And you know what? I think for the most part, Tricky Dickie, there were some incidents on White Ave. There were. For the most part, it was pretty good, though. Hey, we got Scotty Upshaw on the line. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and have a quick conversation with Scotty Upshaw. So Duke's on the horn with him right now. And once he hangs up to Uppy, we'll go to a quick break. Yeah, so we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with Scotty Upshaw on Sports 1440 AM radio with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Your all-access pass to the world of sports is Edmonton's only sports radio station.
From pre- and post-game hockey shows to in-depth analysis from your favorite commentators, the action never stops on Sports 1440.
They're pumped for the playoffs at Selly Sports Bar and Lounge, the place to catch every hit, every goal, every Selly. Not a bad seat in the house. Tons of big screens and a menu with something for everyone from small bites to big bites. Plus, game night food and drink features and Oilers playoff watch parties. Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 10:35 in Edmonton, and time now for the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where you can land a 2026 Jeep Compass 4x4 for under $37,000. It's got the 8.4-inch touchscreen, active lane management, Apple CarPlay, the remote keyless illuminated entry, much, much more. 26 of them in stock now at stalbertdodge.com. As we welcome back Scotty Upshaw from the Missing Curfew podcast that you can hear now on the DraftKings network. Good morning, Uppy. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks for having me. How are we doing today?
Doing great up here. I have to give you some bad news to start things off, Uppy. Your old buddy, your pal, David Schlemko, he was in the Alzheimer's, fundraising tournament. You've been in that, I think, over the years, have you not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Schlemmer's in the Alzheimer's tournament. He toe picked, fell into the post, and broke his rib.
Oh man, not the ribs. Those are, I'm talking, those are some of the most painful bones in your body to break, like that bruised cartilage, the ribs. Schlemmer's not a guy to fall and toe pick like that. That's more my style. He's like that smooth skating, silky, make a good pass, D-man. He should be, I hope it wasn't the opposition net. He should be staying back on that blue line.
That's the first question I asked him, Uppy, and he was like, "No, it was in our own end." And he's like, "Oh, come on now."
Yeah.
Oh. So he was hurting yesterday when he came in, but he gutted it out.
Yeah.
and he was going to say that he was going to get back on the PKs, the penalty, the pain.
You know what that, Kevin, you know what that just does too is like it's springtime, northern Alberta, you know, the river just broke up in Fort Mac, starts flowing down the Athabasca, you know, and then the golf courses are like, you know, starting to come around, and now you got broken ribs.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's just tough.
He's so upset, Uppy, because he can't golf now for at least a month.
I know. Yeah. No, he's in one. That turn, you're not going to be able to turn. You're just going to be a human ATM to all your buddies who want to play you for cash because your game's just going to suck.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, no kidding. Hey, what's the atmosphere down in SoCal with the Ducks on the verge of eliminating the Edmonton Oilers?
Yeah, no, it's I got to be honest. This place is hockey crazy right now. I'm dropping off my little guy Beckham at school this morning. I got all the dads coming over. Like, you going to the game tonight? You going to the game? And I'm like, what are you guys? You guys are all bandwagoners. You didn't ask me like this question 2 months ago, you know. But it's great. I mean, hockey here in SoCal, like the team. Obviously, we spoke last time about the last time I was on with you boys about just, you know, Ducks hockey and the youth they have, and, you know, Joel Quenneville coming in and really changing sort of the message here and got these guys playing well. But, you know, I took Beckham to the game, my little guy, I took him to the game on Sunday, and, you know, it was an electric atmosphere. The Oilers came out, really, you know, deaded the crowd within the first 10 minutes, scoring 2 goals in the first. I thought they were, you know, they outplayed them. It was just consistent, like Oiler hockey, get the puck in deep. The D were making great passes, and the building was quiet. And then, you know, Cutter Gauthier from the half wall, you know, the kid can shoot, you know, puts one up top, gets the crowd back in the game. And then, you know, we all know how that game, you know, game 4 ended up. So, yeah, it's great. It's the way I remember, you know, Anaheim being back in the day when the Getzlofs were here, and, you know, Niedermeyer, Pronger, and they were always a hard team to play against, and a great building, great atmosphere. So, you know, you're getting that back again, and now Edmonton needs to come in and play the exact same way as they have, you know, game 5.
Do you think we'll see basically a repeat performance of how the Oilers played tonight, like they did in game 5? Having said that, how they let off the gas too, they can't be doing that again, right, Uppy?
Yeah, no, listen, the Oilers have done so many wild things to their fans the last three years. I feel, you know, it's the highs and the lows are one. I hope you have a good ticker and you're not, you know, the doctors aren't telling you to don't get your heart rate up, because that's not Oiler hockey. You know, they come out, they play, you know, they might have a game off, and then you're like, man, season's over. Like, this is it. And then they come back and they play, you know, a style of hockey that brings them to the Stanley Cup final, game 7, game 6, back-to-back years, and signs of brilliance. And, you know, I don't think they're as deep as a team as we've seen in the past, but when they go, you know, Evan Bouchard he's putting himself into a category of offensive defensemen, you know, some of the best to ever play in the playoffs. And, you know, when Connor and Leon want to turn it on and they want to, you know, I love Knobloch's choice to put him on the same line to start the game off. I think we saw a little bit different towards the third period, but they're 2 guys that just can really drive the bus. And when they're going and the team feeds off it and they don't make mistakes, and they all sort of, you know, buy in, because buying in for the Edmonton Oilers means you get to go back home for game 7 and you have the best player or best 2 players arguably in the world with one thing in their mind. And that needs to be the message is, you know, finish this off, bring it back to our building for game 7. It's not going to be easy. There's no easy shifts. You know, they've been here before. And I think that's where closing out an NHL series is one of the hardest things to do, if not the hardest thing I feel in pro sports, is trying to get that 4th win. And Anaheim hasn't been there. A lot of these guys on their team have not been in this position before. So can Edmonton use that experience to, you know, to come out tonight and have a great start?
Scotty Upshaw with us from the Missing Curfew podcast. You can hear it on DraftKings Network on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. When you watch Vasily Podkolzin, what are you seeing? And I mean, it must just bring the way he plays. It must just bring you. You must just go, I can't wait till he's on the ice again here.
Yeah, no, I really like the resurgence of Polsey. I like to call him. I just him being a guy that plays strong. He's big. Leon is the type of guy that wants him around, like wants him on the line, wants him going in, hunting pucks, getting Leon that puck on the half wall. And you just like to see him be rewarded for his hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, him scoring the goal early and then, another one off the post, like not 20 seconds after. Yeah. Him getting rewarded like that it should really trickle down. That trickle down effect within your lineup should happen, right? Like the hardest working guy who's going in and hitting guys is getting rewarded. So let's all do that, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of the message I'd be sharing is watch the way this guy plays when the games are on the line. And I just think it was, overall, it was just a great move by Edmonton. It was a timely move when they needed to fill a piece. You don't have Corey Perry anymore. You need size, but you don't have a whole lot of money to spend. And I really feel like he needed he needed some new life out of Vancouver, and man, it's worked. And I love watching him play. He scores big goals. He's a gamer, and it's good to see him in that Oiler jersey.
Am I nuts to say this, but is there a little bit of Scotty Upshaw in Podkolzin? I mean, you weren't afraid to mix it up, and similar body types. Am I nuts over here or what?
You're a little nuts, yeah. I think but that's okay. You're a little nuts. I think what? He's bigger than me, but I used to hit hard. I would say I was probably a better skater than him, but you're right. Like if I only knew how to play the game one way, and that's where we align.
Yeah.
That's where he and I both. Maybe we go too crazy sometimes, where just focus on the puck when you want to go absolutely kill a guy. But no, I you know what? I'd want to play with a guy like that. Like I look at him and he's a guy that I'd want to look on my line and go, let's go. This is on us right now. Let's go get some energy. Let's create some, ozone time. Let's get that puck back. Let's go draw a penalty. Like he's that guy. And I love playing with guys like that.
Yeah. Scotty Upshaw with us on Sports 1440. How do you think, and I'm assuming that Lucas Dostal plays goal and starts in goal tonight. How do you think he responds after getting the hook and giving up 3 in Game 5?
Yeah, I mean, you never look at the goaltender as the reason that again. I go back to saying scoring or winning that Game 4 in a series is one of the hardest things to do, and you might come out a little lackadaisy, and while the goalie let in a couple goals, it's not on the goalie. That goalie's been their MVP all year. Watching their hockey, he was great in the Olympics. He's solid so far in the first 5 games of the playoffs. There's no question to me that you're going to get his best game and that this game could be a low scoring one. So Edmonton, find a way to get, the puck into their ozone, create some quality scoring chances. And, and then you just hope Ingrid can do the same.
Here's one for you, Scotty, because a lot of people have addressed this, and just with assistant coach Jay Woodcroft in Anaheim and being, here for a few years, even more than that as an associate coach here. But how much impact do you think he's having on what, he sees from his past time spent here in Edmonton?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I like Woody. I played against him when he was coaching, back in the Detroit days, San Jose days. He's a well-respected guy. I thought he did a great job in Edmonton. What I see him, the benefactor to having a guy that comes from, that sort of organization or the dressing room, understanding how two players think and how their team plays around them. Quenneville's a smart guy too. There could be a reason why, Woody is there, right? Like Anaheim, you got to go through Edmonton to go to the promised land. Like that's going to be reality. So there's a guy on the market that we can have in our dressing room that has a great track record and has coached these guys. Let's pick his brain. Let's have him part of the culture. There's probably numerous reasons there. I see their guys play Connor hard. They play him right. They don't over defend. They try to take speed away in the neutral zone. I feel like matchups have been somewhat of a game plan this series. If you look, like they're the same guys. Like Kreider's out there doing his thing against them. Leo Carlson is I think one of the best two-way guys. He's strong, he's young, he's fast. He can keep up with Connor. Like there's trickery out there to it. Yeah. And I think Woody understands how these guys think. And they haven't been away from him for that long. So, it's a good point. I would say that, he does come into a factor come 7-game playoff round for sure.
What about, as you mentioned, when the Ducks say converge on Connor McDavid, how well are they playing him stick on stick and not getting, stick on glove where they might take a penalty? How much have you noticed that stick on stick where maybe it's just a quick little bobble, Connor loses control of the puck?
Well, it's, Connor down the stretch, the stretch he went on the last 30, 40 games of the season was remarkable. And it was every other game that we were seeing these highlight reel goals where he would beat guys and be one-on-one with the goalie and be able to get to the far post, right? Like I would say their mission right now is to say, don't let Connor get to the outside and get far post. Like make sure you cut him off, that he has to go around the net or that he has to do his little flip up over the glove. Because when you give him that extra space and you don't have speed to match his speed, he's putting the puck in the net almost 90% of the time when he gets one-on-one with the goalie. So I haven't seen much of that. I do think it's impossible to slow a guy down when he's, when he skates at the level Connor does. But the little hooks and holds, making sure he's rubbed out, making sure these little checks are finished on him. Every little bump counts. Ekholm falling on him in game 2 really was a scary moment, but I think he's okay. I think he's there. And, I'd say game plan tonight for both teams is treat it like a game 7, because if the Ducks come back to Edmonton with that barn and that building and the energy with the fans, it's not going to be pretty. So, Anaheim's game 7 is tonight, and Edmonton knows what they got to do to get back home.
Are you going to the game tonight again, Uppy, then?
I am. I have a babysitter, but I'm going to wait and see. The missus wants to go to a hockey game. She's always giving me shit for taking my kids solo. It's kind of my time away, a little breather.
Treat her.
Yeah, I might treat her tonight. But then again, there's a couple big games on, and I like to consume and watch the play and, cook my steak and put the kids down and then have the game to myself. But again, I said the energy here is electric, and anytime you get to watch a game 6 with Connor and Leon in it, it's pretty cool to see. So odds are I'm in the building.
Well, enjoy tonight, whatever you're doing. Thanks for coming on. I'll pass on your best to Schlemmer, and maybe we'll take up a collection to give him for his golf debts. It's obviously going to happen because he won't be able to swing a club for a while.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, it sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Uppy.
Thank you.
Scotty Upshaw, Missing Curfew podcast with Obi on the DraftKings Network. And that's the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where, again, you can get behind the wheel of a 2026 Jeep Compass 4x4 for $36,900. There's 26 of them in stock at stalbertdodge.com. Also, that rear backup camera, the alarm, and much, much more. I was almost going to throw it a break, Duke, but I, just caught myself. But
instinct kicks in.
Yeah, it does.
It's rare that we have this type of spot where we have a guest in our final segment. So good catch, Kev. That's the seasoned pro hard at work right there.
Sask Oilers fan says, thanks for the Matt Fraser interview. That was great. He said, extremely interesting. I had so much fun doing that. And then so what happens is Duke would send the lineup out last night. I don't know, it was like 8:30. I don't even remember. Okay, Matt Frazier. Well, would have talked to him like a dozen years ago when he was here, but you obviously do a little bit of a reference check, if you want to call it that. And then I started looking about where, when he was in Kelowna, or pardon me, Kootenay with the Ice and playing and getting to the Memorial Cup with Chris Knobloch. And man, he was excited to talk about that. And then the Melville Millionaire angle with Petri Matikainen when he was playing in Austria and he was the head coach. So appreciate the note from Sask Oilers fan. Well, Duke, it's going to be a busy day. Going to go play a little hockey. Thursday hockey, Old Milwaukee.
Old Milwaukee. Are you, Kevin? My concern is,
don't be concerned.
Are you going to make it home in time for the start of this game?
Come on now.
I know how things can get in those Argyle parking lots.
Duke, it's called discipline. Discipline.
Yeah, I know all about discipline. I'm not sure you have what it takes.
Oh, I got discipline, Duke. I got so much discipline, I could give you some.
Sure.
Yeah. How about discipline to not get injured every second time you go out on the ice?
Listen, I haven't got hurt really playing hockey all year. Nothing too extreme. I've had some bang-ups, of course, lots of bruises. That's a sport, even if it is just at the beer league level. But this has hobbled me. I'm battling. I made the joke with Josh. Every keystroke, every time I'm typing, and when I need to flare out to one of my apostrophes or a P or something, and I need to use that right pinky finger, I'm grimacing. That's the type of effort, dedication we have here at Sports 1440. Schlemmer playing through injury, me playing through injury, Josh and Eddie playing through intestinal discomfort on a day-to-day basis. It's really admirable. Really admirable. And I'm inspired by the guys around me for that. So thank you to all them.
Some guy named Andrew's beaking off saying that Walker's going to take Karius' lunch money today at hockey, like last week.
I wonder who that could be.
Yeah, that didn't happen. We know Andrew Walker. We know it didn't happen. I believe Dark won quite handily last week, if I remember correctly. So anyway, coming up at the top of the hour, it is Fantasy Frenzy with
the former Rochep T-Bird,
Connor Halley, and the Duke of Delburne. At 12 o'clock, it's the Lowdown with Alan Mitchell. He'll be there till 2 bells. Jason Greger takes over with the Jason Greger Show. The aforementioned Andrew Walker will be by at 6 bells for the pregame show, along with Donnie P. and Landon Ferraro. Puck drop 8:07. We'll have the post-game show with those Triumvirate fellas following the game. We will be back with you tomorrow at 7 bells with Eddie Steele. And you know that Eddie's going to walk in and he's going to have a big smile on his face or have that grim look of disappointment after tossing up let's call it a 94 at the Ranch Golf and Country Club today. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding. awswelding.ca. Hey, thanks everyone for listening this morning. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all the great texts and being a part of the show. Really could not do it without you. Hope you have a terrific rest of your Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Until then, here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day for the Edmonton Oilers. They look to keep their season alive, taking on the Anaheim Ducks in SoCal, trailing the best of 7 series, 3-2. Puck drop coming just after 8 o'clock. Pre-game coverage right here on Sports 1440 starting at 6. Just one other game in the Stanley Cup playoffs has Minnesota hosting the Stars. Dallas trails that series 3-2 and try to keep their season alive. Puck drop just after 5:30. And off the ice, finalists for this year's Lady Byng Trophy for the player judged to best exemplary sportsmanship and gentlemanly conduct with a high standard of play. Andrei Kopitar, 3-time winner prior of the LA Kings. Cole Caulfield's career-high 51 goals with the Habs. And Sens defenseman Jake Sanderson. All your 3 finalists. In the PWHL playoffs getting underway tonight, Ottawa Charge in Boston against the Fleet. Puck drop just after 5 o'clock. And in the association, a trio of playoff games. The Knicks try to punch their ticket through to round 2, taking on the Hawks from Atlanta. Lead that series 3-2. Boston will do the same in Philadelphia against the Sixers. And the nightcap, Denver going to keep their season alive, stave off elimination in Minnesota against the Timberwolves. Tip-off at 7:30. In the majors today, 11 games total, including the Blue Jays opening a set in Minnesota against the Twins. First pitch scheduled for 5:40 Mountain Time. Kevin Gausman on the bump. Elsewhere, 3 games already underway. Braves leading the Tigers 1-0. First half a doubleheader. Astros and Orioles are scoreless in bottom 2. Top 2, Giants lead the Phillies 2-1. That's also first half of a doubleheader. And still to come today, Brewers hosting the D-backs. Athletics against the Royals. And the Mets take on the Nationals. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports